Osiris.
Hey everyone, we're obviously folks going to start coming in, but welcome to a special live broadcast of Goose Chicks Podcast, an all women-led show focused on the band Goose and the jam band community, and also, of course, the amazing community that supports them. Tonight, we are going to be spending some time talking about Goose's historic 5-night run at the Capitol Theater. Just a few weeks ago, we all were able to go to most of the shows. I'm really excited to talk about this, and we're also going to be joined by RJ Bee from Osiris Media to talk about the special event that they hosted with Rick and Peter and Jeff. So I'm going to add my crew to the stage here. Hello, Hannah, Alexius, Chelsea, what's going on? Introduce yourselves to the people. We'll start with Alexius.
Hey, I'm Alexius. I'm the co-host here on Goose Chicks Podcast, ultimate goose lover, and has traveled all around for them. So I'm excited to run down what happened at the Capitol. And I also do photography. I usually don't talk about it much, but I guess we should kind of start talking about it because at Goose shows, you will see me running around doing photography at different shows here and there. So that's me.
Awesome. Who's next?
Hey, I'm Chelsea. I make tie-dye. So that is my love right now. And that's kind of my story that has gone along with Goose. And I'm just really excited to talk about the Cap run tonight. It was a lot for me. So I'm excited to share a little bit of that.
Hannah.
Hey, I just want to add for Alexius, it's a great time for you to roll out the photography stuff since you were at the Cap doing photography. Yay.
Right.
Super pumped to hear about what that was like. But I'm Hannah, I'm here, and I don't know that I fully digest the Cap run. So if I say anything wild or that doesn't make sense, I apologize in advance.
That's funny. Well, my first question for all of us is just how are you adjusting back to life after the Cap? I can say we had a show that came out today that was talking about music and mental health and healing. And we all had just remarked we were spent after this run, really took a lot out of us and was a big leap from, 2 shows or 3 shows to like 5. It was just a lot to do. And Goose kicks off their spring tour tomorrow in Boston. So, a lot still going on in the community. So how are y'all adjusting and how's it been reintegrating?
I don't know if I've actually reintegrated because I have been just sleeping and doing the things that I have to do to get through life, taking my children to school. And I'm kind of like a zombie. I'm still like a zombie. I still haven't gotten the sleep that I've needed, but I'm cool with it because it was an amazing time and I'm still editing out the wazoo. I'm going to be heading up with Leslie and Drew to the Philly shows, and I'll be in the back seat just editing. And thankfully, I'm not taking this weekend. I'm just going to be enjoying, and because sometimes you have to do that. You just don't need to do it all the time. You need to step back and enjoy the beauty of it. Enjoy the people.
Yeah, and I don't want to gloss over when Alexia said she was shooting. She shot Friday night show. She shot the after show on Friday. She shot Saturday show. She shot the Osiris event on Sunday and then Sunday night show. So the entire weekend she was in full work mode and, interacting with all of us. So it was a heavy lift. I literally was like, I hope you did your squats and because there was a lot going on. Yeah,
definitely. I definitely will step up the workout, game, especially in these theaters and stuff. And so, but yes, it was awesome. It was exciting.
How about you, Chelsea?
I've been doing a lot of reflecting since I've been back, just on, this run and how different it was for me. But I've also just been seeing a lot of live music since I've been back. I think I've been back a week or I don't know how long has it been, but I've seen 5 live shows and I'm going to see Lettuce tonight. So I'm I'm also thankful that I have that that community here in the Quad Cities. So shout out to my QC friends, where I'm able to have live music as part of my life all the time. So not so much adjusting back from like the live music scene, but more so spiritually and things like that. So
love it. Hannah, how about you? I know you're back teaching with your students, all the things.
I got really sick. And so I actually canceled my office hours and my classes Wednesday, Thursday. And then Friday, I was slated to be a chaperone for glamping with college students. And I decided to do it. And that trip gave me life. I won't go into detail, but I just have to say I love my coastal students. They're amazing. And I was like it's the end of the semester. I'm ready to be on tour. I was just not feeling work and they gave me life. So I'm in a great place and I'm excited for Cleveland is my first show after the cap run. So I'm ready.
Awesome. So that's a great segue because my next question was going to be, when is everyone seeing Goose next? As Alexius mentioned, we're heading tomorrow up to Philly for the Philly weekend shows, and also going to hop over to Cleveland and see that show too, because I was like, it's 3 hours away. Why not? So that's the next up for Alexius and I. Chelsea, when will you be seeing Goose next?
Not till Madison, April 13th.
Oh, that's
yeah. There's going to Yeah, well, it is going to come up fast, but there's a lot of shows in between there. So I feel a little FOMO, but it's going to be a fun show with hometown friends with Leslie. And Madison's kind of like hometown shows for me. So I've seen a lot of live music up there. So it's good vibes and that'll be fun. I think that's going to be my 22nd show too. Ooh. So lucky number 22. Yeah. So I'm excited about that. Yeah.
I love it. And Hannah, so Cleveland will be next for you, right? You got a whole crew coming, I think.
Yeah.
Right?
So at the last minute, well, it was supposed to be me and my friend Martin, he lives in that area. And then my friend Andy, who I did the cap run with, he's from that area. He was like, you know what? I'm just going to fly home, visit family for the weekend and go to Goose. And then our friend Tyler, his boss, was like, you know what? You should use some PTO. He was like, I guess we're all doing Cleveland Goose. So, yay. Yeah.
I love it. Shout out to you, Kelsey. Yes, Ohio shows are very special. I mean, I think for sure for Goose, they spent a lot of time cultivating that, that market. And so this is the benefits and it's what reaps, all of that time that they've spent there. I remember, Rick and Peter did that interview with Newport Folk Festival and he talked about that. Like, we first started just going everywhere. And then we were like, wait, we should break markets specifically. And, we see Ohio has been really great for them, great fans, great shows, same with Colorado. So I think there's like a lot of special places for them already. I only see that growing as they start to tour and break into new markets. Although I will say it's been a little droughtful down here in the Carolinas. We got very spoiled last year, so hoping the winter brings us a few shows here and there in the Carolinas. I'm hopeful. Anyway.
Speaking of Showhio, I have a true confession. Leslie might know this. I texted Drew today.
Oh, I didn't.
I was like, Drew, Leslie's husband, and so Columbus is my hometown. Love Columbus. That's where I got started in this scene. I've been really just rewatching shows and seeing Leslie and Drew in the front on the rail. I'm in early talks with Drew about meeting up early in Columbus and riding the rail.
Woo!
I'm telling you to put that out in the universe so that you'll sort of hold me accountable and I'll actually potentially do it.
If you texted Drew, it's a wrap. Like he's very.
I feel like it's my hometown show. And I got pretty close on, what was it? Sunday night at the Cap. I was like maybe second or third row. So I'm just like feeling it. So yeah, Showhio.
I love it.
You definitely need to. You got super close on the rail at the Capitol, and I have pictures of you and I can't wait to send them to you. And it just makes me so happy. And I'm like, look at Hannah. And she's up close to the rail. She thought she couldn't do this. Like literally as I'm editing, I'm sitting here having this entire conversation in my head about and you're just so happy. You've got your glasses on and you're actually standing beside one of my really good friends, John Grunk. grunkier. And so I absolutely love him. So it was just really good vibes. I absolutely watched.
Like there were some angels in our little area that night on Sunday night because we just had the coolest people next to us. We vibed with everyone. It was awesome. I was with Kelsey actually, and it was just amazing. So
shout out to Jive Lee Designs.
And I was with her in that same spot the night before. So shout out Kelsey.
Shout out indeed. Yes, Candace Foley's mentioning that we can see how they're focusing on the West, definitely developing that entire region and revisiting some places again and again, which is really great news. And shout out to all those West Coasters. Good for you that you get a lot of shows in this this fall run. It's fantastic.
Yes, I'm excited for them. I literally got a message the other day and and I don't know why. I guess people think because we do this that we have all the inside, things. And
if only,
if only that would be awesome. But yeah, so he messaged me and he has been to, just a few shows and stuff. And I met him at the close to DC, and he's from DC, and he's like, just so upset that Goose has not put DC on the list. And he's just like, why? He's like, what happened? He's like, why do they not like DC? Why has this happened? And I'm like, I was like, well, you can check out some podcast or some interviews that Rick's done. And, he talks about, developing different markets and being smart about it. And, and they've developed the Northeast market. And I was like, this is not anything from them. I was like, but now the West, they're kind of starting out there. And I was like, I said, dude, I know it. I know it's no fun. I was like, but North Carolina had a lot of sold out shows last year, and we still haven't gotten any love. I was like, Washington, you're not driving that far to see shows. I was like, it's going to be okay, but and I also reminded him the most important thing that we all need to remember, and this is the most important, is that they are real live human beings. Like they need space. They need time. They are doing this. They're like machines. And, the 5-day run was hard on all of us. And then they had extra things to do on top of it that they had to be there for. So, and they have families. They have things going on also, and they're doing a lot of playing. But I think as for fans of us, it's really important for us to remember that they are real live human beings, that they are not just here for our entertainment, that we have to think about their mental well-being, their physical well-being. And, and let's just please all think of them as human beings and not just our entertainment toys. We really love them all the way around.
Yes, fully. I did want to give some stats that came across today about Rick's run at the Cap, because for those who don't know, Rick pretty much set up camp at the Cap after the run to sit in with several other bands, including Phil Lesh for his birthday, several shows. But Rick, his run, he played with 3 bands, 12 nights, 10 shows, 19 sets at 133 different songs. That man needs some rest, and he's not even getting any because he's about to hit the road again with Goose. So I like to put that in perspective. Just like, that's a lot of work. And we're seeing more of that. I mean, Peter played an after set with Becky, which was really amazing. We'll talk about that later. And then the Osiris thing on Sunday. So it was a lot going on. And I'm sure, it's one of those things where it's like lightning in a bottle. They want to maximize all these opportunities. And I was so glad to see this big hole in August in their calendar. And hopefully they'll get some time off and get to rest and get into the studio if they want to and do whatever else they might want to do. All right. So very brief, we're going to get into individual shows later, but I just was curious if you had a general, brief description of your experience during the Cap run. How do you vocalize that? Someone's like, oh, how was it? Especially if they don't know about Goose or they're not, big fans. What is your response to them about this 5-day, experience?
Do I go first? Do you want me to go first? It was speechless, just absolutely speechless. And so happy to see, to see all the people that we love, and just so, like, honestly, just so happy to see the people that we love, to hear amazing music, like usually going into a show, you have hopes that you're like, oh, I hope I get this song, and I hope I get this song. In a 5-night run, no repeats, that we know that we're going to get a lot of the songs that we want. We just have to, what night is it going to be? Yes, there were songs that I was shocked that was left out, like truly shocked, like that there was no Factory Fiction, was there?
No Factory.
So, I think everyone had everyone had their money that there was going to be a Factory Fiction. But for some reason in my mind, on the 5th night, night 5, the encore comes on, or they're coming out for the encore. Everyone is looking at me and they're like, what do you think it's going to be? What do you think it's going to be? And with no doubt in my mind, I look over and I'm like, Empress. It's going to be Empress.
We were texting, all of us were texting. We were like, they're closing with Empress. They're closing.
And
talking about it.
All the other people, they're like, Factory Fiction. I'm like, nope, it's going to be Empress. And when that came on, I was just like, yes. I immediately went behind the curtains, put my camera down, and that was it. Like, I was just dancing all over that place, because I could go anywhere and stuff and do. So it was a lot of fun. It was that closing it with Empress. It today, now, because I'm still decompressing and everything, just now talking about it, light bulb moment is going to give me the power that I need for the year. It was so much fun. I'm speechless by it. Jason and I were talking about it just a little bit ago, and he, just songs that we cried at, songs that, like, he's like, I'm happy I had sunglasses on through that. He's like, because I was literally like bawling. He's like,
yeah, true.
It was such a,
yeah. I mean, for me, the thing that I really
was crying.
Oh.
Do I?
You're breaking up a little bit, Alexius, but it's okay.
Sorry.
You're fine now. I think for me, if somebody, my mom asked me, she's like, how was it? Just kind of out of the blue. And I was like, honestly, it was transcendent, and it was also exhausting. So it was like equal parts of both of those things. And obviously the music was incredible. They put on an incredible 5 nights of music. I mean, I really felt Peter when he said, wow, who's been here all 5 nights? You probably feel like we do. And I'm like, yeah, but y'all are working. We're just out here like, hanging out and having a good time, and, not having to do sound check the next morning like you all have to do. So I know they must have been really exhausted. And I know the security had told me that on Thursday that Peter had asked everybody to come in a little earlier, not the band, but the sound crew, because he didn't like the mix Wednesday. And so even that, like, to that point that, they were still in those nitty gritty details of this long, residency for this 5 days that they had, was really impressive. But the other thing that I took with me was just, this community is so beautiful. It's so amazing. It's filled with so many wonderful people. And I'll have to say, like, it wasn't a week without conflict, right? 5 nights. It's a lot of people, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of emotions. People are also, coming out of Goose Drought and all of that. But watching in real time this community have conflict, talk directly with each other, come back together, be okay with each other, and see that all happen within a 5-day period. It was really moving. It really says so much about the connections that people have and how important they are. And so I was really excited to meet so many people that I'd either talked to online or had heard about or had seen at other shows but hadn't got to talk with them. So for me, those are the things that really stuck out. We'll get into the song stuff later, but yeah, from my experience, that was really something that really stuck out for me. How about you two, Hannah or Chelsea?
For me, the word I keep thinking of is just different, because this run felt really different for me. Not only was it 5 nights, so obviously that was a little different for everyone, but the social aspect of it for me, as you're talking about, was really great. And I met so many people, and I talked about this on our episode that came out today, but it was just much more social for me. And I'm used to having a more singular experience and kind of focusing on myself a lot more and not giving as much of myself when I'm in that environment. And so that was a change for me. And I'm working on finding balance in that, I guess. So it felt a little intense there for a bit, but it was, the longest run we've all done. So I'm sure it was intense for everyone, just tiring.
I want to give you mad props, Chelsea, because you really pushed yourself outside your comfort zone. You came and were in line with me for a couple hours and hung out outside with everyone, which was really very different for you. So I just want to commend you on even extending yourself and saying, you know what, I'm going to come up for a little bit before the show and just hang out. And also, coming to the Osiris event with us. So yeah, I'm just in awe of our Empress. I love you so much.
Oh, thank you. It was fun, but it was definitely out of my comfort zone. So I think that's necessary to, grow and learn things about yourself. And so I did learn a lot, and I don't think I had enough balance is what I learned. So I'm looking forward to learning more about that. And then also just side note, it was my first array below experience at the Osiris event. So that was amazing. Hannah's too. So, and I was right up front. And that was just kind of mind blowing. That was probably my highlight of the week. It was amazing. So, Candace, we got to hang out for a little bit. That was fun. That was my first time kind of experiencing the community aspect of it more, which is great. And there's so many amazing people, so many people I've only talked to online. So it was great to see them all in person.
Yeah, it did feel like a family reunion, we're coming back together. Or, how was summer? That kind of, it was that big, first day of school energy, which, as you all know, can be nerve wracking and also exciting. It's all at the same time. Hannah, I saw you.
As an educator, I'm yes, that's the perfect analogy.
It is.
And how was your week? I mean, I was really happy to see you just doing what you wanted and going with the flow and really tapping into whatever you needed at any given moment. I'm always so impressed by your ability to do that, because it really takes a specific, just strength of character and, self-awareness that I'm always in awe of about you. So what was your week like and how was it? I know, and you brought, I think, somebody to their first show this run too, or no?
Me?
Yeah.
No, but I'm bringing some first timers to Chicago for sure, and maybe some other runs. Unfortunately, I just found out I have a good friend who wanted to go to Detroit with me, and she has a wedding that day. But for me, the social aspect started to be there over the New Year's Eve run, but everyone else was sort of saying, it felt like a family reunion. It felt like home when we were there. It felt even more social. Being able to connect with you all that many days in a row, because we had met in person for New Year's Eve, but it felt like it wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so having that more time together and knowing that, very soon we're going to see each other a lot again. And then I also experimented with different areas of the show. How I remember one time seeing a Grateful Dead concert picture that was memed out with here are the different the geography of a Grateful Dead show.
Mm-hmm.
And so I sort of experimented with that. I really enjoy the people who are at the back of GA that dance, all those women. I used to dance in circles with that, they do when I was younger. And so I went in the back for a while and was dancing in circles, and that was really fun. Experimenting with being up close. We were at the front of the balcony, the back of the balcony, just sort of seeing what's out there and what my vibe is. That was really fun.
That's awesome.
I also would say I hadn't been to the Cap Theater before. And I mean, as a venue, I don't know a better, I haven't been to a better one of that size, pretty much ever. It's really amazing. One, you can kind of feel the history in the building, which is one thing I think is really crucial. Also, the staff there is just, they've seen so much. They've gone to so many shows. So I really appreciated their experiences and talking with them. I'm always talking with staff. It's my kink, I guess. I'm always just interested in what's going on and how they're feeling and how people are, treating them and everything. And so I got to talk with a bunch of them about their experiences. And the very last thing that happened before I left the theater, we were finishing and walking out, and one of the security guards that I had said hi to every night when I came in, he knew my name and everything. He came running up to me and he was like, "Wow, Leslie, that was something. And I was like, oh, he's like, I had to come find you. I was like, you had to come find me? And so it was just this like little moment of him being like, he just wanted to share that he's like, he's seen so many things. He's like, that Rick, he's really special. Like he had to come and tell me that. And it was just a perfect like ending to the experience because it just says so much about the, you know, the space that they create for artists in that theater. And it's so much of that comes through to the staff. So I appreciate that. Hannah, you look like you have something to say. You're muted. Hold on.
Sorry, I thought I clicked it. I gave a Goose Chicks pin to this one security guard who was Trevor's side on Sunday night. And he actually he was so into them by then, he put it on with all of his other pins that were mostly Grateful Dead. And so yeah, there was something special about the people working because a lot of them are deadheads. I feel like they were just knew what to expect and were super into it.
Oh yeah. Well, Hannah, like you were saying, I love that you did that experiment, you know, the Grateful Dead experiment and how you danced around, because that was probably one of my favorite things. You know, it's been a process getting into the photography and how to do it. And, you know, and cause you want to be professional because you're doing your job and you're also doing your passion with your passion. So there's a whole combination or trio of things, you know, and adding your friends and all that. So, you know, so there's that whole part of it. And so you're just trying to figure out, okay, how do I do this properly? And so the thing that I have found about doing photography is I get to go everywhere and I get to go all over. I get to come into the pit. I get to go up to the very top. So I get to see all of my friends and I get to dance with all of them. And they'll always come and find me. If they see me coming by and they're like, I know you're working, but when you get a chance, we're just right there, which makes it so much fun because, you know, when there are songs and jams that you really want to get into and you feel like you've gotten, you know, so many good shots of this, you know, and because you never know until you're home looking at your computer, big, you know, on the big screen and stuff. But, you know, you're just like, oh yeah. And definitely always taking time. So I love that you did that because that was probably my favorite thing. I love the rail, always been a rail rider. But the lights in the back, seeing everyone, being able to hang out with everyone and stuff, that made it even that much more special because I literally got to spend time with every single person that I wanted to see. And even people that I hadn't met yet, that we had just met online, you know, and that was so much fun. Met a lot of fun people and so excited just to meet everyone. So I think that you got the right idea on that, girlfriend. You got the right idea of going all over the place. And me and you are that type of way anyway. We kind of bop from place to place to place.
We're a lot alike.
We are.
It's not just the red hair.
No, it's not. It's not just the red hair. Yeah, shout out to David, another photographer. He says, go everywhere, feel everything. And I also wanted to say hi to Darian. You're cool, girl. No problem being late. All right. So we do have a guest tonight, our fearless leader over at Osiris Media. RJ Bee is joining us. And RJ's background is in storytelling and communications. He channels his lifelong passion for music into the Helping Friendly podcast, which he co-founded in 2013. And as CEO of Osiris Media, RJ is responsible for leading and growing the network. I am going to bring him on right now. Hey, RJ, how are you?
Good. Hey, everybody.
Hey.
Hey,
We're
thank
so
you.
excited to have you here. Thanks for joining
you so
us.
much.
I know, you've got kids and you got a bunch of stuff going. So thanks for making a little space for us.
Yeah,
this evening.
we're in between dinner and bedtime. So that's the phase of the day that we're at.
Awesome. Well, as folks know, RJ and Marshall hosted an amazing music and conversation event during the Cap Run on the last day. It was really something super special. I wanted to start with just how did these events come about in the first place? Because obviously this isn't the first one y'all have done. You've been doing them for a while. And what was your overall goal? What did you and Tom think about as you conceived this, this concept?
Yeah. It wasn't our first one. So I guess I always wanted to just combine what we do podcast wise with live music. So I think December of 2021 2021. We had an event at the Ardmore Music Hall, and I just basically invited 4 musicians who Tom and I were friends with, like Mark Brownstein and Aaron Magner from the Disco Biscuits, and he brought his friend Anthony Kryzon, who played in the Spin Doctors, and our friend Charlie Hall, who's from the War on Drugs. And we just put it together, and we were like, what if we interview each of these people for 15 minutes, and we put together a house band that then they would each play with, and then there was like a big super jam at the end. So that was our first one that we did a couple of years ago, and everyone, this kind of happens every time, like people come up to me at the end and are like, this format is just awesome. Like this combination of music and conversation is great. So that was our first, and we've done probably 10 or so since then. And yeah, we actually did something similar in January of 2020 with Rick, Peter, and Jeff, which was like Jeff's first time. It was like the first time the 3 of them had played together publicly. So that was right before the pandemic. So that was the first one we did with these guys. So I love doing them. It's so much fun.
What was the vibe like at that first one in 2020? Like, where was it, first of all? And then what was it like? It
was at the Bell House in Brooklyn. It was part of the Brooklyn Podcast Festival. So it was technically like a, live podcast. And I think the capacity of the place was 250. And I think we had like 75 people there. It's pretty crazy. So, it was great. It was enough people, like we all had fun and it went well. But yeah, it was a different time.
Do you find that because the musicians are able to play and talk to you, that there's something that happens there to sort of lower their guard a little bit, keep them in their comfort zone? What is? It feels like something special in that combination for folks.
Yeah, I do think there's some, I think most musicians just like going up there and playing music, but I do think just like sitting at a table and talking into a microphone is harder. So I think keeping them they're in their comfort zone, but a little bit more open probably than if it was a normal interview. And I know, Leslie, you said afterwards that we got a lot out of Rick. And I was basically every time that I'm doing this, I'm trying to make sure that I'm just make sure that I'm trying to, provide value for the fans, and I whenever we do this, I'm like, shit, I hope I don't ask bad questions. And I hope they actually answer them, because I'm always like, I just want it to be awesome for the people who paid money to get there, So I think this one went well, but I was worried that we weren't going to get enough out of Rick. So
I thought, we all talk all the time. Rick is a man of few words and lots of songs, but I thought you did an amazing job of, asking questions that were really interesting and things that we did want to know about it, the origins of Silver Rising. I hadn't heard him talk about that before. That's really some juicy, very, very compelling information. And just him kind of telling the story, even knowing that there was at one point potentially a full EP about a werewolf. That to me is like the special things that you were able to kind of bring out and have him open up a little bit about, how a creative process starts. And then we end up with this fantastic, amazing song that they performed also in front of us. So I just really love that. I want to give some space to the other ladies if you had anything to add. Since everybody was there, we all were in the house.
I just want to say, as a qualitative researcher who interviews people, sometimes knowing when not to talk and how to allow space for people, especially someone who maybe is more introverted and quiet, that can be really hard to do. And that really impressed me. And I think that's why we got some of the longer stories that we did. I just thought that was really cool. And I really appreciated that and noticed that on sort of a professional nerdy level.
Thanks for saying that. Yeah, I'm sorry that Hannah and Chelsea, that I did not call you out by name when I mentioned Leslie and Alexius, but
no worries.
So that is my bad. My background's in communications. So, and I think the whole interesting thing about communications is that it's really about listening. And I really have tried my whole career to just be a good listener. And I think that's the most important thing you can do in an interview, really, right? The talking is secondary.
Yep.
Absolutely. Chelsea, you were right up front. Full, right up there. I'm curious, this was your first time seeing a Ray Below, so you got a special treat in the talking and the singing. What was the event like for you?
Well, this event was really right up my alley because we all know I love to talk about lyrics and things like that. So I was just like in awe. I was right up front and I was just kind of hanging on every word. And it was really cool to see how Peter and Rick bounce off of each other. Like, you know, they have different perspectives, and bringing both of that out was really cool to see as well. And just seeing Array play, man, I was like, why am I sleeping on Array Below?
People.
I've been listening to a lot of Array Below since I've been back too. So it kind of jump-started that in me as well. I just really appreciate you putting that on, RJ. It was a really special show. Very special.
It definitely was. It was just the perfect ending to the week, and you know, just everything that we have experienced and everything that we had been missing, and then everything that we had been missing, and then for you to have the Q&A and you know, to get a little bit of Array Below and then questions answered, and like Leslie said, like you asked questions that people wanted to know. You know, these weren't just, you know, run of the mill questions. I've been talking about it all week with different people, and we were just like, wow. I mean, those questions were so amazing, and Rick opening up, and you know, and probably it's the quietest I've ever seen Jeff ever. You know, that was another thing.
Yeah,
It's funny. Yeah.
And Alexius, thank you for all your amazing photos too. You got like the post-show picture of us, which I really appreciated, and tons of other photos. So thank you.
Oh, thank you.
So how did this particular music and conversation come about? Like, when did the conversation start, and how long do you and Tom have to kind of develop what it's going to look like? I know when I spoke to you the day before, you're like, I'm just finishing the script right now. So,
it's funny because, it's interesting because basically I'm going to look at my email. I think basically I go back to them every, 6 months or so. And Ben, who you guys probably know, he's their manager, and he manages a bunch of other bands. So I work with him on stuff. So like I'm in touch with them, but then once in a while I just have to like say like, we should probably get this going. But I think it was October of last year when I emailed the whole team and was like, hey, Tom and I would love to do this. I kind of got more serious about it. And it took until February for that to like come together. So it's funny because it's like I could have been preparing the whole time, but like I didn't really know if it was happening until 3 weeks before. So then I'm like, okay, now. And I did ask the kind of social media crowd for questions because I wanted to integrate that. And we went back and forth on the songs a lot. I started with I think 15 songs, and then it was like we should probably get it down to 8, and then it ended up going down to 6. So I had to like give up these songs, and I was like,
what did you give up? Please tell. I want to know that. What did you give up?
I can tell you. I think I have the list here.
I love it.
Love it.
So Your Ocean was probably the last to be cut. These are all for different reasons. Redbird, Butterflies, what else? Oh, and Born and Hungersite. Like I wanted Born and Hungersite to be together. Like I wanted to ask a question about how they coexist together, but then it just kind of like went in a different direction with input from their team and Tom and I, and Tom had a couple specific things. So it was, it went from, 12 or 15 to the finals, I think 6 that they played. And I also wanted to throw Atlantic City in there. And then I was like, just because their covers are, especially with Array Below, but Goose too, their covers are just amazing. And but then I was like, I don't know, we probably don't need to like do a cover, if we're actually asking about all these songs. So I cut a bunch.
Well, I mean, they did do a cover. We're going to get to that the next question because there was a cover.
Oh, yeah. Right. Good point.
I will say that I thought about that too, about the different songs that were chosen, and many of them debuted last year, which was really interesting. Half of them debuted last year. You played my very current favorite song, Thatch. You had them play, which was really interesting. And so there's a back and forth between all of you, but I also know, Tom brings a really specific songwriter's lens to this endeavor. And so I'm curious, were there things he wanted to definitely hear because of the songwriting aspect of it? And is that part of the conversation too?
Yeah. Well, one thing you should know about Tom, which he would tell you, is that anytime we plan one of these events, he gets really nervous, like leading up to it, which people are sometimes surprised by because he's like, songwriter, but he's not super comfortable in front of crowds. So part of it is like us figuring out how to make it so that so that we're both comfortable. So, and I sent him a bunch of music, and he's known these guys for a long time, but like obviously I listened to them more. So I sent him a bunch of the songs, and then he had specific questions, and it's interesting because like he pays attention to the lyrics and has thoughts on the lyrics, but also like the question to Jeff, I think he thinks about it as a musical thing, like not just a lyrical thing. So I think a lot of his questions came from, just being intrigued by the music.
Yeah, I love that question to Jeff about, Tom even made this thing. He's like, piano makes sense to me, but what you're doing, I don't know how you switch between those different parts of your brain. Also, Jeff's in like 30 bands. So there's also that, which is just funny to me. Every time I try, I'm like, oh, he's in that band too. He's just in so many bands. He has a Tame Impala cover band, which is so
Does
niche.
he?
So niche, and very Jeff. So that's really great. So we got a special treat, as I said. We got a cover, a radio with Tom Marshall singing Fish's Meat. And so were there other Tom Penn Fish songs considered, or did Tom for sure want to do Meat?
Yeah, he just really wanted to do Meat. And I think it's because of the vocal harmonies, and he was like, this will be great. So that from the beginning, he was like, I should do Meat with them. And then that was it. So there was no like going back and forth or anything. I think last time, he suggested Brian and Robert when they did it the first time in 2020. So I think he just like gets a song in his head that he thinks would be good. And then that seems to be the pattern anyway.
I love it. Peter was just like beaming during that. I mean, he's such a big Fish fan. So I just loved watching him, getting to sing with Tom and everything. It was just really, again, super, super special. What was your favorite moment from the event, RJ? Like what's what's been lingering after the fact? I know it's not been that long.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely like the professional highlight of my year so far. Probably will still be toward the end of the year. I mean, I get to like interview lots of really awesome musicians, but there's the bands that I like and the bands that I listen to. And then there's like, the bands that I listen to every show of, and it's few and far between that I get to talk to them. I actually have been like wondering if I asked the right questions. Like that's part of Tom and I. Tom has like the pre-show jitters and I get like post-show. I'm like, or like, shit, should I have like not asked this follow, just like, so I have some of that. But I mean, I think hearing them describe, it's really hard to get Tom to describe like the inspiration behind lyrics and Rick too. Like it's just because it's hard to explain, and sometimes they don't want to explain it. So I feel like when we got like a little insight into like Silver Rising, when Peter talked about Honeybee, like I think the crowd reactions to their answers is like, that's my favorite part. Cause that's like, and it also just like, it seemed like there was just like a lot of laughing,
it was really funny, great. RJ. Like I laughed.
Like everyone was laughing. I was really like, we were all laughing.
Yeah, it was very funny.
I don't think we intended it that way. It just sort of like that was the conversation, so that's what I'll remember the most, I think.
Yeah, there was such good chemistry up there. Mm-hmm. And so that always leads to like moments where it's lighter, even if you're talking about heavier subjects or things like that, it kind of elevated the conversation. And I also think when people are laughing, like that also puts their guards down. I'm sure it made both of you much more comfortable. And so all of us were just like in it with y'all. I will
tell you, sorry to interrupt. I'll tell you, Tom came up by himself and that was not part of the plan. So I came out of the bathroom and was like, where did everybody go? And I was worried that everyone had gone up there. And then I walked out and saw that it was just Tom. So then I went up there and I think they probably came out and were like, what the hell's going on? And then eventually came up on stage. But he wanted to just get he's very punctual. And so he was like, it's 1:30. I'm going up on stage. All right.
He's like, it's 1:30. The people are here. Let's go. We're getting
He's a very punctual
I must
person.
entertain the people.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
I thought you did great job with questions, and I thought your follow-ups are really great. I mean, some of the funny things were just that these guys are funny in terms of just the little things. Like when you asked about Peter's blanket, he's like, "Oh, Mom, where's it from?" That's hilarious because one, Rita was there. Shout out to Rita Caruso, but also just we might think it could have been some really deep answer, and really just like, I just like it for security, you know. So those were the things that were really special and funny, and kind of kept it light, even though there were serious things talked about as well. So what's next? Is there another music and conversations plan, or not necessarily with Goose, just generally speaking? Yeah. Do you have anything in the works that you can talk about?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. And I will say that the question about the blanket and the organ was from a listener who responded on Twitter. So like, that's why I wanted to make, like, that's not something that I probably wouldn't have just like come up with, but because I had like my own lines of questioning, you know, so it's nice to throw things in there that just change the conversation up a little bit. So, we're talking to a couple of venues, including Garcia's and Ardmore Music Hall, which is here near where I live, about doing some kind of like ongoing series, like a few times a year, with like artists that are already playing in the venue, like what we did with Goose. So the ones that I had like put together, do like one or two of those a year just because they're complicated. And I basically just like for those, I like call people up like, hey, do you want to do this thing? And they're like, sounds weird. Sure. You know? So like it takes a while to put those together. So I'm trying to do more that are organized like the one at Garcia's, which is basically just, you know, do you have an artist coming who would like to talk, sort of thing. So anyway, I'm going to do more of those. We're going to do some stuff around a couple Fish summer shows. I think something at Dick's, and maybe something before the Man here in Philly. So we're definitely doing them. I think it's like the most, like I love podcasts obviously, and I make a lot of them, but the live stuff is definitely like what I think is most exciting, just because it, you know, like the energy that you all felt in that room, that's like something like, what an amazing thing to create, even if we only do it, you know, a couple times a year.
Yeah,
Completely agree.
It was great. It was so great. I'm glad that there's things in the works, both for Fish's runs coming up and also just generally to have some ongoing experiences like that. I know it was the hottest ticket in Port Chester on Sunday. Everyone was trying to get in. It was great. It was really
They
great.
went fast. Yeah. And I did.
We were like in line in the VIP line, like waiting, you know, to get on the rail.
Yeah.
And the security came out and he's like, well, who's going inside? And the whole line was like, oh, that's us. We just like,
that's awesome.
Just like swooped around and just moved to the line to get into the shows. And then
got back in line.
And then got back in line after. So
awesome.
It was like, we just moved the party inside and you kept the vibes going. And it was like perfect segue. By the time we got back out, we were like, oh, it's like almost 4. It's almost time. Like we literally like it changed the entire, you know, kind of atmosphere and energy outside. And I was glad you were able to come out and hang out with folks.
Yeah, that was great. Thank you.
It's a lot.
And I did tell, like, I want to do this more frequently than every 3 years, at least with these guys. So maybe we'll do it again in a year if we can figure it out. So I want to keep doing those.
I love it.
Awesome.
Any other questions for RJ before we let him go put his kids to sleep? Because he's getting...
I think you should do one of these at Floyd Fest, RJ.
Yeah. You know, that was actually... I just emailed them last week and said I can't do it because we're going on a family vacation that Saturday, like up to New Hampshire. I was like, I can only come down for 2 days. And then I'm like, I can't do it if I have to leave halfway through. So next year.
All right, next year. Got it. You got to come down. I'm like literally like 30 minutes away from here and stuff. So this is like my territory and everything. So, but you're coming down for 2 days?
No, I'm not going to anymore. No, I'm not coming at all.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry.
Okay.
will we see you at the Met this weekend? More
Yeah.
importantly.
Yes, I will be
So,
there.
Alexius and I will be there, so
Awesome.
definitely be sure to tap in. I'll text you this weekend.
Yes, definitely.
Link up for sure. Tell everyone where to follow you, and then I'm going to tell a quick story about your Twitter handle and a conversation we had about it, which was
Okay.
really
Okay. I'm on Twitter at RJ Bee _2, and I think maybe RJ Bee2 on Instagram.
I think that's correct. So when I saw RJ's handle, I said, RJ, did somebody take RJ Bee1 before you? I was so confused. And then you explained to me, please tell the people why it's RJ Bee2.
I forgot about that. My dad and I have the same name. So I got the second, like the 2 letters. It should have been Junior, but they like gave me like Roman numerals. So like my name is Randall James B. II. So everything is like 2 at the end. So that's why someone just asked me my email address and asked if one was taken.
Yeah, because I'm
Same
always
thing.
assuming. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm very territorial about my name. So anytime a new platform pops up, I like park myself on it. Like I don't even remember half the time. So I was like, somebody took RJ Bee1 before you. I was like angry for you. I was gonna go find them and figure out how to get you.
Thank you for letting me tell that story.
Well, thanks so much for joining us, RJ. Thanks for being so supportive of me, so supportive of the podcast. We really just can't thank you enough. It's just amazing.
Of course.
We're so thankful.
Thank you all for all of your amazing. Oh yeah, of course. I'm so glad it worked. And you all are putting out great content. So keep it up. It's fun.
Thanks so much. Thanks, RJ. We'll
Thank you, RJ.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
We'll see you
All right, have a good night.
All right.
Yeah, see you this weekend.
All right,
Bye.
Oh my goodness.
He's
What
so
can we say?
awesome.
He's so great. I'm so glad. I was so excited to hear some of those details about like the planning process for that Q&A because it went so well. And I was like, how did all this come about? Like who picks the songs? How does it all work? So I love all that behind the scenes stuff. It was really fun. Thanks, RJ, for coming. Okay.
I still kind of get like with the band, I don't get fangirl and stuff. And but RJ, for some reason, always this past weekend with RJ and Tom, and me being right in between them, I was more nervous to be with them than I was, with the band, and stuff. I'm like, why am I more nervous to be with them than I am with the band? And so,
but I love the human piece of he was nervous, but did he ask the right questions? Tom was nervous. Is it going to go well? So, to me, it's just, again, just showing so much humanity in folks that you may see on a screen or, in front of you on a stage, and they're still human beings and they have all those feelings. And I'm glad that RJ is kind enough to share all that with us. It's great.
Yeah. And yeah, he's awesome. He's really awesome.
All right, y'all. It's time to start recapping the Cap Run. Are we ready? We're going to start talking about it. Now, I know a lot of other shows, they do songs and they go through every set. We're not doing that here. One, we haven't had enough time to even do that. And two, we just have a different approach and kind of want to talk about how we felt more about the shows and what different things were going on with us. So we're going to answer 4 questions for each of the each night. The first is where we each were in the house. The second is what was the jam of the night for each of us. When were we most moved during the show? And then if there was a special moment or experience that any of us had on any given night. So those are the kind of containers that we're going to hold this conversation in, and hopefully it'll be entertaining and you'll learn a little bit about how we experience shows. So we're going to start with night 1. Chelsea, Alexius, and I were there for the Wednesday night. I'll start and just say I was on the rail the first night, and I will just say I really expected them to ease into the 5 days. I don't know why, because I should know better. But my anticipation was maybe they'll open with Elizabeth and it'll be a nice little start to the week. And they didn't do that at all. So we'll get into what they did do. But where were you, Chelsea, that night, that first night in the house?
I was like probably like 4 rows back in the middle, like right in front of Rick. I was with Alexius and her husband Jason, and some other friends, and I just went for it. And I usually hang back a little bit, so yeah, that was interesting for me. I felt very close.
Yeah, it was really interesting vibes that night. It wasn't as crowded as the other nights because it was the first night, and things weren't quite as packed as they were the rest of the run. And we all also were trying to get into the vibe of being, being together and being at the shows. So Alexis, you and Jason and Chelsea were all together in the same space, yeah?
Yes, we were. That was that was the night that we didn't go all the way to the rail and stuff. We just hung back, and that was very. I was not as the first night. I was exhausted. I was just beyond exhausted, and and I just didn't want to take a exhausted vibe to the rail. So I was like, you know what? I love all my peeps up there. I'm going to stand back here, and I'm going to, because it doesn't. I was in the back where where we could just sway, and and it just wasn't like as hardcore, and so it was just very enjoyable. So since we were so exhausted and stuff, it was just very enjoyable, and we were also just awestruck, like what like whoa, there's no. We just kept looking back and forth at each other, like, are you serious? Like what Rick was. He just came out the gate, and I mean, just full speed ahead. There was no slowing down. It was not like, and I know that he's played some shows, and I know that they had Okeechobee and when they went down to pits, playing in the sand and stuff. But still, I mean, just it, night one was definitely not as slow as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot slower, and it was just not that at all.
Or just side note, I think it's funny that you're like, yeah, I took it easy, hung back, and I'm like, I was so close, and we were in the same spot. So
it's perspective, right? It's all about.
Just note that. That's hilarious.
I feel that.
I mean, let's just say they took the stage in the middle of a jam. So just. Who even does that?
Yeah.
Your fave could never. Goose is the best. And so that was really amazing because they finished the jam that they ended at Okeechobee and didn't get to finish there, and just picked right up where they left off, which often I feel in runs they do all the time. I'll be like, oh, they just put pause. Like the next night, they just picked right back up where they left off. And so we got this little tail end of Electric Avenue, and then All I Need, and then the rest of the sets. So what was your jam of the night? Oh, Knitting by Darian is saying that the Arrow is still unfinished from the cap run. So we'll see what happens in Boston. Get back up. So what was your jam of the night? I will start with mine. No doubt, Drive, and Drive Again. Oh, look, Candace is saying the same. That Drive was, I've listened to it at least 3 times. I just go and just listen to the Drive. I haven't listened to the whole night yet. I'm going to do that on the road tomorrow. But it was something special. I was just like, wow, they're on all cylinders, and we are in for a really amazing run, is what it told me. That they hit the pocket there. I was like, wow, I couldn't. It just blew my face back, literally. I was like, oh my gosh. Yeah, it was amazing. And Chelsea,
I agree with the Drive. That's what I was going to say. I just love dancing to that song all the time, but in particular, that one was extra fun. And being with Alexius and Jason, like, I know we were all tired from traveling and stuff, and I know Jason was really tired, but as soon as that song came on, I like turned around and looked at him, and me and him both are like, start dancing, and it was fun dancing together with them. So that got us going.
Oh yeah. And Jason and Chelsea were so cute. Like they would just it was so much fun. I had a blast. And what I meant by taking it easy was like not like jumping up and down, because we were still all like, grooving and stuff and dancing. But my song of the night was Jive 2. like, holy guacamole, I finally got my Jive 2 on night one. So my heart was just so happy, just so content. And, you know, all the other songs are absolutely amazing, but I'm walking out like, I got my Jive 2, yeah. So I was very excited about Jive 2 for sure.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so when were you most moved during the show? Hannah, did you listen to this? You were traveling this day, right? I don't know if you watched.
Yeah, I was not there yet in New York, but I would say that, like, having gone back and listened to everything, this had the darkest jams, and so I guess I would have to say I missed 2 nights. This probably would have been the night that I would have wanted to go if I had to choose between Wednesday or Saturday. But the 20-minute All I Need, that would probably be my jam, just because of where I'm at in my personal life. And then, you know, who doesn't love a heady 20 minutes? So
that song, I feel you on that, Hannah, like where I'm at and, you know, and everything and All I Need. And it just, like you saying that again, like just gives me chill bumps, just brings that like little tear, you know, like it was that. And that, again, just talking about it, these are just a few songs and it's just night one and we're emotionally moved and just like, we're just on night one. We're not even, you know, midway through the week. So, yeah, it was, a lot of these songs were, and Wisteria Lane, you know, Wisteria Lane in it also on night one. So that Wisteria Lane was sick.
Yeah, I don't know why I was really excited about the Pancakes Encore, because here's the thing. We had recorded the night before we all left, and in that episode, which came out last week, we talked about pancakes, and it was really funny because before we decided, we were like, oh, should we dissect pancakes? I mean, is there that much to talk about? It ended up being a very fruitful conversation about the song. And so when they played it night one, I was like, oh my gosh, we just talked about this. It just like hit me. And then I was like looking back at you guys like, oh my God, pancakes, they're playing it now. So that moved me a bit. All I Need always does. I mean, just is and it also just really grounds me in terms of like the experience. So I really loved that as well. Yeah. Chelsea, what about you?
I had to go with Your Ocean on this one, just because that's a beautiful song. Any of these songs where you can just hear Rick's like beautiful voice, you know, then I don't know, that one is just special to me. And it was funny that RJ said that was the last one he cut from Ray Below.
He almost got that one.
Yes, so that would have been cool. Ray Below songs.
Yeah, you have to see more Ray Below shows is the answer to that, I think.
We're gonna have to do Goose Chicks podcast to Ray Below, because, you know, and I'll tell my theory offline. I'm not going to tell it online. We have to have a secret first. Yeah. It's a secret, guys. It's a secret.
Okay, so was there a special moment or experience that you had this night one? Alexius, anything special? It doesn't have to be.
I was just overwhelmed by, you know, All I Need came on and it was just, you know, everything that I needed, and just being like, and looking up and just like seeing like everyone in the house and, you know, everyone just dancing and stuff. And so to me, that was a very, very moving moment, like to start the night. Electric Avenue was a real fun vibe, like to get it, you know, going. And then that All I Need. And then, like you said, that pancakes, like, you know, Chelsea and I then too, we were like, pancakes, you know, and that pancakes was just amazing. And the jam was so sick on that. It was, you know, it was awesome. It was definitely that All I Need though was exactly what I needed in that moment.
We often use this analogy about like going to Goose shows as like going to church or like going to the altar. All I Need is like the gospel song, I think. Like it's the church song. Like
yes. It is.
We're here. Yes, we're here to definitely have this experience together. Chelsea, anything that stuck out for you that night? Any special moments?
Well, that was the first night I got to hang with Alexius at a show. So that was fun to be with her and Jason. And so dance with them. And like I talked about earlier. So that was special for me. and just being like so close to Rick, wild, very wild. So that was cool. And I remember leaving this night and thinking like, they really thought about this run as 5 nights is when I left. Is I was like, this was the first night. You could tell the songs that they put in it that they had thought about, like, you know, spreading out their jammier songs or their dancier, you know, whatever it is. And so I remember thinking like, they're really curating these set lists for this run. And so that was a cool moment too.
So I had one cool moment. I'm going to just share a little photo right here. So my husband got himself and myself these Yeti jerseys, which is actually just the sponsor of a football team in Austin. And we had noticed that, it said Yeti on it. We should get it. So he got some and he got them personalized. The back says Goose and then 23 for this year's runs. So he was in front wearing this shirt. And when they came out and just started playing Yeti, like we lost it. I was like, oh my God, they're actually playing it. Like it was his first time wearing it and it was amazing. So we happened to get the set list and they were not going to play Yeti. So I'm 99% sure that they got to set break and were like, did you see that big guy up front? With that Yeti
I did not know this.
Feels like we should play Yeti. So you can see on the screen that they were going to, Bob Don was going to be the encore, and they pushed Pancakes down and they slotted Yeti into the second set. So we were really just like, especially once we got the set list, it was like, oh my God, wait, did you like manifest the Yeti? This is amazing.
He manifested the Yeti.
So we were excited about that, and that was pretty cool. So shout out to Drew. And
Drew's the coolest person.
Also, I couldn't wear my jersey then after. So I was like all pissed off. I was going to wear it like, I don't know, one of the other nights later. I'm like, now I feel like you already manifested it with the shirt. I'm not going to just wear it out here now. So I'll save it. You'll see it out some other show in Spring Tour, but I didn't wear it up there. But yeah, that was kind of a special moment between him and I, and it was pretty funny. All right. Thursday is upon us. We are on night 2 of this amazing run. And where was everyone in the house? I was on the rail night 2. Yes, I was on the rail night 2. Slightly Peter's side. So just a little bit off to Peter's side. Where were you, Chelsea?
I was Trev's side, like probably 1 or 2 rows back behind Alexius. And I was rocking my Knitting by Darian beanie, Trevor's side, Forever side, that night too. So that was a lot of fun. I was like, I can't go Pete side. My beanie says Trevor side, Forever side, guys. Like I can't do this.
There's rules to this. I love it.
So I definitely stayed Trev's side that night.
And so, Hannah, you finally got into town that day. I remember you were like, the train's almost here. You were like keeping us, abreast of where you were.
I was so nervous about taking the commuter train. I was like convinced we weren't going to get there in time. And then we were there early. Shout out to Andy, who I don't think has ever been early for anything in his life.
Thank you, Andy.
Love you, Andy.
Yeah, Andy.
We love Andy. Before we leave, I have to tell you the very special Andy story that happened on Sunday night. It's very special and it involves someone from the band. But
forgot about that.
Chelsea knows.
Just stick around, folks. There's more to come. Stick around.
But I think the fun thing that happened to me on Thursday night and sort of set a precedent of like, this is home, this is family, is we're walking by people who are, because we were there a little early. So like Shakedown Street or whatever was like sort of happening a little bit. And this girl was selling shirts and she yells at me, "Hey, I like your hat." And I was like, "Oh, thanks. My friend Kelsey made it." And she's like, "Yeah, Jive Lee Design." And she like knew who made my hat, which was the Queen of the Afterglow hat. Like she knew who made it. She knew her name. Like they're friends, we're friends. It was just like a really cool moment of like, yes, like these are right people. And so that was my favorite thing Thursday.
Love it. And where were you sitting, Hannah? Where were you in India?
We were in the front Peter's side balcony.
Balcony or the lows? You were in the front, right?
No, we were in the balcony.
Balcony. Okay. Excellent. Chelsea, you said you were Trevor's side. Alexius, you were on the rail at Trevor's side, correct?
Yes, I was. Rail Trevor side.
Yes.
Always. That's my spot. The Trevor fam.
Trevor Fam's the best.
Yes,
What was your jam of the night?
That one I have to look back at the set list and what's happening. My jam of the night would be the best jam of the night was Madhavan, but Centerman was, yes, it was. I was so happy to get Centerman, just thrilled. I think the people around us, like everyone was like, yeah. I mean, you would have thought like it was a touchdown at the the ending touchdown of the winning game of the Super Bowl or something. Like that's how everyone, yes. So it was, I think we all felt that inside the songs that we haven't gotten for a long time. And, and when they come out, it was just so excited that we got that Centerman.
Yeah, that was really good. I have to give a special note. This tumble, this to kick off set 2, chef's kiss. So good. They just had the other shows that they released the 10th and the 11th. And I was like, oh man, I got to go back and listen to that Tumble because I just remember when they started it. First of all, I love Tumble, but the jam, they just went so deep into the jams. And this was the thing, this was the night that I realized like, oh, with this much space, 5 whole nights, they really get to jam every song they want to. Like, I'm sure when it's just one night in a city, they have to kind of like condense things a little bit or make sure everyone in the audience is getting what they need, from the set, and knowing they had this long runway really allowed them to go deep in so many of the jams. And then, of course, California Magic also stuck out because we did a great conversation about that song. And, already I have like a whole video treatment for it. So the whole time I was like visualizing my video treatment for California Magic. And so those 2 were ones that really stuck out for me. What about you, Chelsea?
I'm going to go with Rockdale on this one. Shout out to Rockdale because they've been getting dark on their Rockdale jams. The one at Goose Miss also, shout out to that version because I really enjoy some Evil Goose. And I would like to see more of that. So, like my favorite bar I go to is metal themed and that's kind of up my alley. So I like the dark Evil Goose. More of that, please.
Yeah, I think before Rick even said on the mic, he's like, make it spooky. So
yeah, that's my vibe. And once I got home at Open Jam, my friends did a Dripfield cover for me, and they got real evil like metal at the end of the jam, and I was like, this is dope. I'm into this. So I was like, Evil Goose, so excited. So. More Evil Goose, guys, if you're listening, please. Love it.
Evil Goose is great. Just like Evil Fish is amazing. Yeah, we love when they go dark. It's the best. Candace is shouting out Not Alone, the first FTP of the run. Shout out. Yes. Very, very yeah, really special. I mean, it's always great when you get to be there for them unveiling a new song. And if I ever do get to interview them, it'll be my first question. Like, how do you know when it's ready? Like, how do what is that? Like, because it's clear it's not a specific length of time. Sometimes they're like, we just wrote this. And sometimes it's like clear, you hear teases from a song so long ago if you go back to some jams. So it's like, I wonder how they balance all of that. It's just fascinating to me. How about you, Hannah? Jam of the night for you?
I mean, my sister just posted, love California Magic, which we definitely love that song. And it makes us think of our dad because he's always loved California and lives there now. But the Not Alone was my favorite FTP of the run. So, and I'm excited because it's kind of more indie, right? And so like indie rock. And so I'm excited for some of the things they're going to do. Like I was looking over the Railbird Fest, and Jenny Lewis is going to be there, and she's very indie rock, high school years for me. And so I'm just are they going to jam with her? That would be sick, so.
Yeah, that would be great. I love Jenny Lewis. Shout out. Yeah. So I'm gonna listen to that tomorrow. Yeah. So good.
She's a ginger too, if you guys don't know.
Yeah. She's great. Okay. When were you most moved during the evening? When were you most moved? Night 2. I'm going to say Centerman. because it was my favorite jam, but I did really feel so much emotion as Rick was just, laying into the lyrics and just, so I find it to be a very vulnerable song when he sings it. And so I always just like really get into my own feelings as well. And of course it's, a Nina Simone cover, so I love it anyways. But that was really, that moved me a lot and just a lot of feeling in it. And then I will say about Not Alone, I really love Rick writing songs that have Peter on guitar. I don't know, I just thought it was just really cool. And so that stuck out to me too. I was like, oh, it's a new song and Peter's on guitar. Like, that's really cool. So I like that too. How about you, Chelsea?
I am going with Not Alone on this one. There was something really special about hearing that song for the first time, and just the chorus part of Not Alone. I don't care if it's the first time you heard it, it just hits you. So that one was really special. I know in our last episode, I was really all about Feel It Now as a first time played, which I really am, but Not Alone is really good too. And it was a special moment. So
yeah. Alexius, Hannah, how about y'all?
Not Alone was really good. And that was it. Again, it's just like, I just feel like telekinesis with these guys, like, and I know that it's, I don't know. It's just like, that song was another song that I needed. And it was just like, it was just a very good day, a very good week at church. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like everything that I needed, just to start back up, after that winter drought and the goose drought and stuff. It just is like that they were just like blossoming a flower, just as we, it was just like slowly opening and, and coming. And by the end of the night, just fully, by the end of the 5 days, just fully blossom. So, at this time it's, we're getting, I know that's a weird analysis or a weird,
great analogy. I think that's spot on, especially, we like echo in here. So it's analogy. I did want to also just shout out what I've been dubbing Reborn, which was this double time Born that they played this night. I was not ready because the thing is, Rick started the regular Born and I turned to go, oh, it's Born. And then they started playing it fast. I go, wait, is it? I was like second guessing myself, even though I knew it was Born. And so, yeah, that was something special. First time they played it at that tempo. And I also laughed because Jeff frequently argues with people on Twitter about BPMs of songs. And so I was just like, haha, this one, he'll have to change his answer for this one. But yeah, that was special too. What about you, Hannah? Any things that really moved you in this one?
I think just for me that night, we had sort of a potentially negative experience be diverted by this guy who worked there. He was security and he reminded me of my dad. And basically, I really don't like to bring negative energy out there, but there was someone sitting next to me who was sitting down, not dancing, not grooving, on her phone, posting pictures of herself at the theater before the show started onto social media the whole time. That's just not my jam. Like, I'm notorious for being like, oh, I forgot to have my phone out the entire night and I have no pictures at shows. Like, that's just me. That's one of the reasons why I really like Peter's thing about like phones down and all that. But this guy who worked there was like, yeah, sorry you have to sit next to her. And just like, he's been to some epic shows, some epic dead shows in his life. And like, he just kept coming up and like whispering little jokes about the situation to me. And I was just like, the universe is giving me what I need to like not have a negative experience by someone who just completely does shows the opposite of me. And he was just, I loved him so much. And I asked him at set break, I was like, either set break or before the encore, I asked him what he thought. And he was like, oh yeah, like he's great. And I want to say he even saw Rick play, but when he had done one of the Capitol shows with Phil or whatever before. And so he was really into it and it was really good vibes. And then that woman left at set break and there was this other guy next to us and he was like grooving out and dancing and stuff. So it was special because it felt like that's what the Goose community gives you, is what you need.
Mm. Excellent. I love it. The only thing I would add is that this was the first night of the run that we were all together. And so we got to hang out. We spent a lot of time in the ladies' room.
I was going to say bathroom meetup was my highlight.
We were there before the show and at set break. We went after. Just getting to spend so much time with the four of us. It's so magical and it was so great. And we were so funny. We took some pictures and then we took some pictures at set break and we're like, well, these are just for us. And then I sent them to all of us. And we're like, wait, we like the set break pics.
Exactly.
Really funny. We were like, checking ourselves, which was really funny. So I have a little surprise for everybody. Wait, let me bring the special guest out. Hold on, let me add her in here. Hey,
what?
Hey. Oh my gosh. Listen, I didn't tell anyone Becky was coming, but she was kind enough to say she might jump on and say hello with us. And you are right on time, my friend, because we are about to talk about night 3, Friday the 10th, which is definitely exactly what we wanted you here to talk about. Yeah, Becky, just say hi to everybody and let them know that RIVKA is in the house. I'm so excited to see you again.
Oh my gosh. Thank you, Leslie. First of all of you guys for having me. So cool to speak to every one of you.
Yes, so
excited you're here.
So we'll talk about the set, but since you're here, let's definitely get into the amazingness that is RIVKA and Space Panther. We got to witness the first debut of y'all, you and Peter playing together. And so I just want to start, like, how did it feel? What was it like, just putting it out there? The crowd was pumping. Like when I was leaving, the crowd had moved through the entire vestibule and the lobby of the Cap. And I said to Drew, I was like, you keep going because this is about to be the end of the actual event itself. So yeah, what was it like?
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know that happened.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was wild. I thought that I would see the end of my boyfriend's show. And then I was like, all right, I'll just start playing 2 minutes later. And then I saw freaking Jimmy Fallon on my boyfriend's show. And I was like, this is crazy. I was in the this is crazy camp. I don't know if y'all were as well, but
Definitely.
it was nutty. I knew that there was a possibility that maybe that would happen, but he absolutely knocked it out of the park. So then when it came time for our thing, I was like, okay, well, I'm definitely not Jimmy Fallon. Nothing will top Jimmy Fallon. And so I think that since he had such a presence on stage, it brought this sort of maybe calmness where I was like, okay, I can just do my own thing and take up space in my own way, which is so different from that. So I was like, all right, cool. The energy's high. Let's just get it going. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. Oh, the energy was awesome. Everyone was ready to go. I think everyone was ready to go before Jimmy Fallon. And, and then it just moved. It was insane even trying to get into,
it was insane.
It was insane. People watching from the doors and from out there and just waiting, hoping that people were going to leave and stuff so that they could get in. And it was a lot of fun. I definitely was just this is my jam, since I lived in Europe and lived in El Salvador. And, for years, it just a lot of electronic music is over there. And it's a lot of, dancing. And so I was like, oh, this is everything I need. Goose. And then RIVKA, I was like, oh, this is awesome.
So
Perfect Friday.
I have a true confession. I spent an outrageous sum of money for a Friday ticket. Chelsea knows how much. Don't tell anyone. Because I wanted to go to the DJ set so bad. I have a lot of friends who are DJs. Saturday night, I went clubbing in Brooklyn because our friend of a friend was DJing. I love that dynamic. And it was so crowded. I was like, we are never going to get in. And me and my friend Andy took the commuter train back to Manhattan because we didn't think we would be able to get in. The line was really intense. People were trying to rush it. The security had to step up. It was, yeah, it was. So I just love that for you guys. That's amazing. Kudos to you. I hope I get to see you DJ another time. But it was wild for sure.
I think that first of all, like this was the first time that we had done that. And there was like, obviously we were like, okay, well, hopefully people are excited about this collaboration, but what we didn't anticipate was gravity and like just the gravitational pull of when one music ends and then like another music at 125 BPM starts. Like that is just water trickling out of the faucet, So I think that, there are things that, it's hard to avoid when the exit is adjacent to the after party. And it's hard, I hope that everyone got a glimpse of what was going on, but yeah, I wish I was like, I wish I had another set of eyes or hands, but I couldn't. I would see it.
You were working up there. It was a lot going on up there. And also the soundboards are up. So anybody who missed it can listen to the whole thing right now. Check out, hey, my name is Becky on IG. Go right to her bio and you can get the link to the SoundCloud. Shout out to Peter for getting the boards up so quick. So awesome. Amazing. What was your favorite part of the set, Becky? What was your favorite part of the set?
First of all, I think like the strong crowd response, not just like for me, like the numbers is one thing, like that's cool, obviously, to have a lot of people there. But I think like from my own experience of going to DJ sets, when the crowd is really emotionally involved in the DJ set, like that is actually more powerful than just having a lot of people like, maybe like on their phones or like just like chit-chatting, like when you're really invested. And so for me, hearing like vocally, like when there was a moment of appreciation and response, that was really neat to hear, because having a deeper connection with the audience is just something that I think every artist really strives for.
And I think your chemistry with Peter, obviously it's wonderful because you're together.
That was spicy.
Musical, like just watching all of that, even the little bit that I saw, I was like, oh, okay, they're like getting into it. Like, I love it. So that was really awesome to see. And just, I think just like you could feel the love like beaming from the stage out to the audience. And that's really special. Such a, lightning in a bottle kind of experience for folks. So thanks for sharing that, because it's really amazing.
I wish we had practiced chemistry more. Truly, we just practiced the music and the improv. And then I was like, oh my God, wait, I forgot. Peter's an amazing dancer. And now I'm going on stage with this guy who's such an amazing dancer. I have 2 left feet. And I was like, okay, wait. Oh, as soon as he got on stage, like, I don't know why I didn't realize this before, but as soon as he got on stage, I knew that was going to be the name of the game. And I was like, oh, dear God. I'm glad you saw this chemistry.
You didn't seem like you were a bad dancer at all.
Oh, God. It was fun. It was amazing. Yeah.
I love it. So we just went through, we were lucky enough to get 3 new songs this run. And I wanted to ask you a little bit about Feel It Now, because I know you got to watch this song blossom as Peter was writing it. And so I was really blessed that you came down and were with me to dance to it the first time that they played it. But I was curious what it was like for you being there, seeing it actually out there for the fans to receive, and what that experience was like for you.
Yeah, I think like the biggest thing is like for Peter, seeing how the songwriting process unraveled into the performative process. And I thought the band did such an amazing job with the song. Certain band members in their own way brought each section to light really beautifully. And so, how the band responded to it, and then seeing the crowd response to it, oh my gosh, that is just amazing. And being with you, Leslie, and Drew, and everyone that was around us, it is a song where it sort of generates a certain like internal rhythm that is natural to sort of bump along to, being a little bit faster paced and having that dancey vibe. But I was just blown away by the positivity. And I think, what would you guys call it when like everyone is just really paying attention? You know what I mean? Like everyone is clued in, like they're vibing, like maybe they don't 100% know what's going on, but like they're along for the ride. Like what is that at a show?
I think people are really present, and you mentioned like not having your phone out and stuff like that. And it was funny because I had just brought that up. That was like because of a story that happened Thursday night. So someone's saying Wrapped.
Wrapped. Thank you. Yes, Wrapped.
David.
There's also like research on fish and like sociology research on fish, and they call it different things, like the pulse or the vibe. Like there's different things for it. I'm actually trying to research that. So
synergy. Cool. Yeah, the pulse. I mean, it was a strong pulse, which I think can be worrisome for the artist. You know, what is the response going to be when people don't automatically know the lyrics or the notes to sing along to? But the pulse was there. My God.
Yeah, the pulse was there. It was so dancey immediately. I also think that, you know, a lot of us were talking about how many fresh songs we were going to get in the run. And so we also, I think, as a community of fans of Goose, we love being there for first time plays. And so that attention that you notice is like us being like, oh, we haven't heard this yet. Like, what is it? Like, you know, we're there to soak it up and experience it. And also there's just this fun component of now we've heard it one time, what's going to sound like the next time we hear it, you know, and seeing a song evolve and seeing, you know, to me, it's always so the thing people kept telling me over and over again was like, that song has so much potential. Like, we cannot wait for them to keep playing it and keep honing it in and keep, you know, extending the jam and what it's going to turn into. And so I think a lot of that energy was there where we were all like, oh man, this is going to be like a really, really good song to get to hear over and over again. And so that's how I was feeling. I was just like in it, like really in the moment with it. And it was just so fun. So fun.
I like to watch all the musicians when a new song comes, and I like to see what energy that they're all, you know, that they're giving through the song and how that they feel through it. And, you know, and to watch it grow and to see, you can kind of tell which ones like really vibe with it and which ones it's really special with. And maybe just to me. And I just like to see how it grows and how each one of them evolve with it and then find out the story, you know, later behind it. But it's just so cool to see, to watch each one of them when a new song comes on and just vibe and see which one's getting, you know, which one's vibing with it the most and how they're all. And some of them like will be worried and stuff, but that song was just, everyone was just so just in it and just, the whole room, it just the energy, the vibe that I don't even know the word for it. You know, it was really awesome.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes when I go to other shows, I feel as though there are certain fans that are wrapped, they're feeling the pulse, like they have this strong connection with the band, but it's not a larger group within the concert space. And then I go back to Goose shows and I'm just blown away each time by not only how tapped into the music the musicians are, but also how tapped in the fans are. It's like a participatory experience. So I don't know if you guys can comment on that for the new material.
Yeah, it is. I think we're always just kind of like jonesing for new material anyways. And so, you know, as much as we love all the songs, we all have our favorites. We love all the songs they play. Like the ability and just the knowledge that we're going to get new stuff from them is really exciting. It's one of the things that makes them so special is that in 2020, they played 22 new songs last year. I mean, bands don't do that, right? So, and we're not even at the end of March and we've got 3 new ones this year already. So for us, it's kind of like, it's part of the experience of Goose is like that they're continually writing, they're continually experimenting with things, they're continually working together. And we just appreciate being able to witness all of that and what it feels like to kind of be there as they, you know, birth new creative endeavors right in front of us. And that's why I know everyone was so excited about your set because it was like, oh, another like layer to see Peter doing something else and seeing you out there doing something with him. Like it just, again, was just another piece of artistry that we got to kind of witness and be there for. And it's really special. I just know all of us just get so excited for any time there's a first time play. It's like, yes, I was there for it and we get to see it. So I think for all of us, it's just really exciting because they've made it exciting to expect new songs, and that they're so gracious to share them with us so quickly and so often. So many bands are very closed about new songs. They'll hold them for whatever, an album, for this, for that. And Goose is so generous. And so that, I think, is a lot that you'll see from the fans, of just us being really grateful that they're even blessing us with all those new songs all the time. And it's just really special. So I don't know, that's
Absolutely.
my take. Yeah. Okay. We're not going to keep you too much longer, Becky. Go ahead, Alex.
Oh no, go ahead. I was just going to
ask if there was what's up next for RIVKA Ruth, and will we see her out anytime soon? Are there plans? Are you thinking about it? Obviously, I don't expect you to have like dates and locations, but yeah, just how are you feeling after it? Is it something you're going to continue to do? And yeah, I know you've been DJing for a while, and everybody should definitely go and listen to our conversation with Becky that we posted the day that this show debuted. It's really great, and you get to hear some more about Becky's experiences. But yeah, just what was it like, and are we going to see RIVKA out in these streets soon?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I have to extend a huge, huge thank you to the Goose management and Goose crew team that helped set up this event first and foremost, because they went super out of their way to organize this, set it up, work with the relations at the CAP, at Garcia's. And then we had team members on the Goose crew who took time out of their super busy 5-day schedule of busting their ass to, help us with the setting up, with the taking down, and just generally getting Peter there safely after the show, which was bananas. So
yeah, I see. Yes. Miriam posted that security practically had to carry Peter to the stage because of that pack. So yeah,
It didn't come in my head right. Like I saw like them like rushing him off, and and I'm getting my camera in the bag and like rushing that way. And then when I get to the front, I was like, oh my gosh, Peter had to go through this. How did they get Peter through this? And
there was a lot of I mean, we were trying to go outside, and then
maybe we lost Becky.
It was hectic. It was hectic for sure.
Yeah, it was hectic up there. Well, I'm glad that thanks for that. Yeah, it went really well, and everybody was really excited about it. So thank you for sharing it. And definitely shout out to the Goose crew always for being the best crew in the business out here doing the damn thing and working so hard. So all of us get to enjoy so much wonderfulness throughout the year.
Thank you so much to the Goose crew and all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. They're the best. As for new shows, I think the most important thing was that Peter and I enjoyed the past show and that we felt like it was a collaborative experience. And I feel like the show wasn't even over yet before he was like, do you want this again? And I was like, okay, maybe. So yeah, I think we do want to try to do it again, and finding the right space and place and time will be pretty crucial. But I'm still going to be RIVKA Ruth on like weeknights when Peter's around, or just sharing space in our apartment and having fun and doing the musical thing together. So we'll see what happens.
I love it. Well, we'll share out everything. Everybody, please make sure you follow Becky, especially on Instagram. Hey, my name is Becky over there. I'll make sure that they're in the comments here. And also, again, check out the conversation we got to have with her about Park. That drop just finished. Hopefully everybody got their pre-orders in, which is benefiting Greenpeace, and all the work that you and Peter are doing on that side of things as well. So just so grateful for you. You're such an awesome person. And thanks for surprising the girls with me as we were just chatting on the side. And I was like, hey, you should stop by if you want. So thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it. We love you so much, and we'll see you on the road soon sometime.
Thank you. Yes. See you guys. Thank you, Becky.
Thanks, Becky. Talk to you soon.
Good night.
Bye.
Awesome love.
Sorry, y'all. I was
What the
gonna,
heck?
I like surprising.
Oh my
people.
gosh. Like, I think Becky's the coolest person. Like, I follow her on Instagram and she's a DJ. Like, I don't know. She reminds me of a lot of Suki's friends, actually, from Honolulu. And I'm just like, I'm
Dude.
going a little bit.
So I've always like, I don't know, it's our favorite band. We love them. So, Becky, I've always just, wondered, about each one of the girlfriends and stuff. And Becky, I was like, I wonder, Peter, he's just so interesting. He has so many layers. He has so many talents. He can do so much. And I've always been like, I wonder what Becky's like. And it has been so nice getting to know her. And she is a hell of a woman. She is a woman's woman. Like, she is everything. Like, she's my hero. I mean, I just like getting to know her. She's absolutely gorgeous. She's multi-talented. She's so, I could just go on and on about her. And I was just like, yeah, yep. That's exactly why Peter loves her and is in total love with her, because she is amazing. And just that couple together and seeing them dance and seeing them like their chemistry. And I didn't get to say this while she was on there, but I have pictures. Peter is looking over and his hands on his head and he's looking because she's like getting it, like she totally got it, got in the vibe and was in the vibe and stuff. And she's just getting it. Peter looks over and he's like, just like mind blown because he's trying to figure out what she's doing because he's playing the keys with it. And he's like, and looks up at her. It's so cute. It's just like the cutest thing. And I'm like, yeah, girl, get it. So
I love it. Yeah, folks, definitely check out the interview we did with Becky. It's on our feed. Goose Chicks Pod everywhere. She even talked, we got to talk with her about how Peter and her met and some more fun information. So definitely check that out. All right. Thank y'all for entertaining me and so getting to surprise y'all. We are on night 3 and we already did talk quite a bit. Actually, no, we talked about the after party, but let's talk about where we were in the house. Night 3, Drew and I were up in the balcony, and the front row of the balcony. It was amazing. I just knew, look, I'm not as young as most of y'all, so I knew that 5 days on the rail was not going to really be possible, like physically. So we just picked the middle of the run and said we're going to go up top and just be up there and have a good time. And it was really, that balcony, it was rocking and it was physically rocking. Like
I was scared, like at point scared when I went up there, like for photography. And then on the very front, like balcony over it, like I was just like, oh. Yeah.
And you don't notice while you're up there, but then when you leave and come back and you're like, oh my gosh, like then you start to notice it because when you're just moving with it, you don't like pick it up as much.
Right.
But that's where I was and I had a great time up there. We sat next to a couple who had never been to a Goose show before. They just lived in the area. And so set break, I was like, so what do you think? He's like, yeah. They can play. And the wife was a big Dave Matthews Band fan. And so he's like, she's really big into Dave Matthews, but that's a cult. And he looked at me, he goes, is this a cult too? And I was like, well, not cult. I wouldn't say the word cult, but I could see where others might. But yeah, so they really enjoyed the show. They had a great time. They were really fun. And yeah, that was where I was. Chelsea, this was not, you didn't get to come. So you were with Kelsey, correct?
Yeah, I did not get in this night. I did not find a ticket. And I was texting you guys and I was like, I just want to go to the after party and you have to have a ticket. So someone get me a ticket, but I did not get in. So, but I did stream it at the Airbnb and hung out with Kelsey Jively Designs. So that was fun.
Awesome.
I'm sorry to this is real life though. Alexius, check your text messages because Cash or Trade post just went up and I'm like chatting with you.
For some ticks for Cleveland.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I had to do that. Then
no, listen, this is real life, y'all. We take
this is like how we spend our time.
Candace, are you listening? Do we have Cleveland handled. Can you type back? I need to go get it.
The fucked up part is that this is
Candace says I'm on it.
Candace is on it. She's on it.
I need 2 tickets for Tyler and Andy, but
priorities. That's right.
Priorities.
Priorities.
But like, this isn't even the only person I'm talking to about shows either. Like, my buddy Nick is Facebook chatting with me right now about the summer fish tour, and he's like, I'm gonna be in Wilmington, and I was like, that's like less than 2 hours from me. But then I'm like, I'll be just getting back from like a 16-day goose run. So I'm like, do I want to do fish? But like, I do. Shout out Nick Wynn.
Of course.
I'll probably be at that show, Hannah. So we should definitely go.
I'm trying to get tickets to that show. So I mean,
just wait a little longer. You'll get tickets.
Yeah. It'll be my first fish show. So I think,
Alexis, you're going to Wilmington too?
I'm definitely trying to, for sure.
Okay, then, because I know.
So if y'all see any tickets for sale, let me know.
My friend Miranda won the lottery for Alpharetta, and so she was trying to get me to do Pitt for that.
He was doing Alpharetta with his brothers, but I'm not going down with them.
Yeah, you were telling me that. And she's like a vet or whatever, and I have other friends going, but she's the only one who wants to go to the Pitt, and I just don't think I can do that. I think I'm gonna hang out with my boys in the back, or like hang out with Drew and his sister. Yeah,
I wouldn't recommend. Do not recommend. Just saying. It's not
but sorry, I didn't mean to.
Let's jump back on. I know we did that, but let's jump back into night 3.
Night 3. With Kelsey. They were very lovely. They were texting us and letting us know how they were. Hannah, where were you that night?
I was behind you, remember?
Oh, right. You were right behind. Yeah, y'all. Okay. I waited till the last minute. I was like, oh shit.
We walked in as the first song came on. We did not think we were going to get in. It was a little miracle. But actually, and I hate that I'm about to say this, but I forget her name. But Bruce's girlfriend, what's her name?
Janie.
Yes. Okay, so she was in front of us, and like I'm like, I'm feeling myself. I'm, doing whatever. And so I like zone into this Ohio tattoo she has on her arm, and it has a heart in the circle or a heart in the middle, which is for Columbus. So I started talking to her afterwards about Columbus. Tell me why, like, you all know that I talk about like the old local jam band scene that I was a part of in college when I was like 19, 20, 21 years old. She is friends with those same people. Like, we took a selfie to send to our buddy Johnny. Like, it's just so wild that
all world.
Yeah, and I was just like, this is magic. And then I was like, oh, wait a minute, like, I like know who you are from like online world, like online Goose world. I knew who she was. And so that was just a really cool moment to like see them and have that common friend group or whatever. And I think Johnny, our mutual friend, is a local musician in Columbus. And I think I'm going to try and get him at the Columbus show. So, yeah.
People are excited that you're going to be going to a fish show, Alexia. So that's awesome. Now I got to really get myself together for Wilmington. Okay, I'll get it together for that.
Oh, yes. Ladies, Cleveland is in order. Thank you, Candace.
Oh, thanks.
I literally owe half of my paycheck every week to Candace.
Everything's moving around.
We love
you. Candace is like the absolute best. She is. She's the absolute best.
And so, Alexia, this was the first night you were shooting. So you were literally everywhere. I saw you. I got some great shots of you doing your thing with the lights and everything. I always try to take pictures of the photographers because y'all don't get shots of yourselves working enough. And so I've been trying to, if you see my phone out, that's usually what I'm doing. I'm taking pictures of the photographers like in their element because I'm very moved by the work that y'all do. And so I try to capture all of y'all a little bit here and there when I can. So you were all over the place.
Yeah, I was very honored. Like I was just talking to him. I was like, hey, I'd just be happy, doing a night or two. And then, when they let me know back, they're like, okay, you've got the whole week and like, Sunday night, like y'all are like, we're diving in, which I know I've done like a lot of shows, with them and stuff, but still for me, it's just like, wow, okay. Thank you. That was very, very nice. And it was being up so close, like when Animal, Flow Down, all those songs are coming on, I'm like, yes. And, it was a lot of fun, and getting to see their expressions and stuff. And then, then just being able, like I said earlier, being able to dance with everyone, being able to come upstairs and dance with you and Drew, and, being able to see Hannah, and being able to see everyone. It was really nice. And being able to talk to people. And that was a lot of fun, and just a super duper lot of fun. And then I was also able to go on the balcony. So I was able to see from every single spot, that was in the house. And I'm just a curious type of person. I just went, I wonder what those seats are like. I wonder what that's like. And so my curiosity was able to, I guess, scratch itself, or what's that expression? Like I was able to
scratch that itch. Yeah,
scratch that itch. Yeah. So that was.
So jam of the night. Let's hear it.
That was a hard night.
I have to say, just because literally, I think this was my 27th or 26th show, something like that. And I finally got my whales. Y'all, I literally almost burst into tears. Drew was like, Leslie, finally I got my whales. I wanted this thing for everyone. I was so freaking excited. So for me, it was just the highlight of the night, just because y'all know, I've been talking about it forever, wanting to hear it. And it's one of my faves, but I just really wanted to experience it live. And so that was really special for me. And I loved it. It was so good. Oh my gosh. Chelsea, what stood out from whom?
Well, I'm going to go with Flow Down. I actually was outside the venue when they were playing Flow Down, and I could hear it. Kelsey and I were at the box office, are you sure there's no tickets? And we could hear them playing it. And so we had a little dance party kind of in the hallway. So that was fun. But I always just love a good Flow Down jam.
Flow Down's the best.
I mean, no matter how they take it, it's just fun. So
exactly. You can't go wrong with the Flow Down at all.
Really I was like, this is the rowdiest shindig I've ever seen, and I want to be in there right now.
Damn it, I want to be there. For me, Creatures, Creatures.
Good Creatures.
It was sick. And and I had a lot of dance room to jam that thing out. It was, that was an awesome, just coming out. And I'll just say Creatures.
I almost just mentioned Zach when you mentioned Flow Down, and here he is in the comments saying Flow Down, the king of Flow Downs. Literally, such a joy anytime we get to see Zach dance to Flow Down. It's so good.
Zach, that's my favorite too. Zach, y'all, if you haven't seen Zach he's on the rail. And if you ever paying attention to, to the rail riders and stuff, Zach is always jamming out hardcore. He's so awesome. He is a hardcore rail rider, and will be out there all day. Doesn't matter the conditions. And he is so much fun, the nicest, kindest person. And his girlfriend, Marin, she jams just as hard as he jams. They're both super awesome. So I'm happy they popped up saying Flow Down, because that definitely was a sick Flow Down.
Very much so. Okay. Hannah, did you say your jam of the night?
I don't even remember, because I've been so excited about everything. So just we can question. Yeah.
That's legit. That's legit. It was a lot to take in.
It was a lot to take in, especially by this third night. I was just the third night was when I really started hitting me just how much we were getting from the band. And I started to counting the songs and thinking about whoa, this is a enormous lift for them musically, and just so blessed that we got to experience it all. It's amazing. When were you most moved? I have to say that the In Your Eyes cover, Into a Rise, but just the pairing of those two songs was really special. And also, Drew and I are always constantly talking about how at certain times Goose reminds us of Genesis, and sometimes they remind us of the Allman Brothers. And so that 1-2 punch felt like lifting both of those sides of Goose up so directly. It was amazing. And of course, Rick's voice is just butter on In Your Eyes. It was so beautiful and really, really awesome. Zach, we love you too. And Karen agrees that the in your eyes moved her as well. What about y'all? Chelsea, what was something that you were like, whoa? Oh, you're muted.
Arise was really special for me. They don't play that a ton as Goose. It seems like they play it a lot as a Rainbow, but that song is just so beautiful and makes you stop for a second, I feel, and just, take a moment and let it wash over you. So that Arise I've listened to a lot since.
Another church song. Definitely another Goose church song for sure.
Actually, I forgot that this was the night they did Everything Must Go. I definitely cried during that song. And, you know what I forgot about this night too? Because this is when we I feel like we had a moment. Chelsea, ended up getting seated next to your friend Sarah. Is that
Kelsey's friend Sarah?
It's Kelsey's friend Sarah. Yeah, sorry. And you guys were hanging out the whole weekend, and we didn't realize that she's Kelsey's really good friend, and Kelsey and I have gotten really close too. And then we eventually realized it. But when that song came on, we both were just shyly looking at each other and tearing up, and it was really cute. Also, she's freaking awesome, and I love her. So
yeah,
love it. Alexius, what was your move? What moved you as you were bouncing around the building?
Bouncing around, yeah. So that is kind of the difficult part. I would say bouncing around the building. Redbird really got me that night, and Redbird usually is not. Redbird finally made its debut into my, I don't know why. Maybe it was because I was just trying to block it for, but Redbird really hit me that night, and it was really beautiful and really awesome. So I probably listened to that a couple of times since, and that was what was beautiful to me, Redbird.
Yeah, the harmonies on this particular Redbird were really dialed in. You could really hear each of the parts really distinctly. And one of the great, benefits of a Rainbow touring and doing shows together is that this three-part harmony of Jeff and Rick and Peter has gotten so freaking tight. They sing with one voice almost, even though they're singing different parts. And it's really something special and so unique about Goose. So just really great to get that. I have to mention the elephant in the room because Jimmy Fallon, as Becky said, was in the house for the show. We were sitting pretty close to where he was. And so I got a text from our friend Michael. Shout out to you, Michael, who was like, Jimmy Fallon's there. Is this true? And I was I looked at the picture and then I looked over. I'm like, oh shit. That is Jimmy Fallon. He is here. He's right there. So that was interesting. And then obviously he came out and did the encore with them, which as Becky said, it just was what's happening? What's going on? It was very much just energy, unexpected. All of it was just sort of miraculous. It felt like when Big Boy came out in Austin, because we were just what are you talking about, Peter? What do you mean Big Boy is coming out here? It was just like that, just springing it on the audience that way. And so, yeah, it was great to see all the pictures of, him backstage with Coach, before the show started and everything.
Can you just imagine he and Coach together? That is the duo. That
energy, crazy all over the place.
And both of them doing the pictures of who's the going out and stuff of the pump up and everything that definitely. I bet that was. I can just those two for some reason in my mind are the two that just that would be hilarious together backstage.
Yeah, for sure. Any other thoughts around Jimmy Fallon? I just have to know that he almost knocked over Rick's backup guitar and Rick's face. I just burst out laughing because he was like, "Hey, man, put the guitar up here. What are you doing?" Just his face was just hey, this is great, but also this is important things to me. It was he just had such a human emotion to the moment, and I love that they're still themselves on stage that. It's so great.
and Rick's soccer skills and stuff. Like he's like totally in the middle of playing, you know, getting it. And he sees that microphone stand going over and that foot goes out, catches it, you know, before, and then Sam comes out, you know, grabs the microphone stand. And in my mind, I'm like, why is that? And, you know, why did that happen? And then, you know, when you're behind the camera, you can't see everything. And then I'm like looking and Jason's like, yeah, he knocked over the stand and it almost hit the amp. And as I'm going back and scrolling through the photos, like you can see it. And then Rick looks over at Trevor just like and gives the biggest grin, just like, man, can you believe that? Like, really? And so it's just like really cute things like, you know, just happening and stuff. They're just so cute. But that was definitely an unexpected fun. And let me say, Jimmy Fallon blew Mustang Sally out of the water. He did a really good job on the vocals on that. For him not to be a singer and for him to be a comedian and stuff, like you have to give him credit. He did it, you know, he didn't do a terrible job whatsoever.
He jumped in the deep end and like went for it. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, I like that.
He went for it for sure. We'd be remiss. We got another freshie on this night as well, which I really loved. I think Candace mentioned it. Yep, Familiar Groove. And we did get Dark Goose with this Thatch as well. As y'all know, my secondary title in my life is Thatch Evangelist. And so I was super excited to hear it. I literally, when they started it, I leaned over to the guy in the couple next to us and go, this is a heater. Get ready. And he was like, oh, word? I'm like, yeah. Get ready. This is it. This is that one. And so,
God, you warned them.
I was like, be prepared because this song goes hard. I love them ending the set with it too because it really just like lifted us all back up and like got us like, you know, energized. I just felt really energized after it. I always loved that. This was a particularly deep, like every time they played it just gets more and more texture, more and more richness to it. And yeah, they killed that one. They really did. So good. That was a song that I had that really special moment with the security guard at the Cap. It was during the right in the jam and they were like, get into it. I just looked over to him. And we just like pointed at each other and we're like, yeah. And so, yeah, right at set break, he was like, oh my God, that was the moment of my week. That was so great sharing that moment with you. So yeah, it was really great. And I just had a really good time up top. It was a fun time up there. All right.
Did you realize also 2 seconds? Did you realize also that Bruce was like 2 or 3 rows behind you?
I did, and he came around when they said he was like Thatch. He like yelled at me, and I was like, "Yeah, Bruce." Yeah. It was really.
Those are the cutest photos because I'm taking pictures of you, and then all of a sudden you and Drew, and you're rocking out, and all of a sudden I notice Bruce is in the background doing like the booty slap thing, and I'm like, Bruce, it would not be the same ever with us. So got cute pictures of them and y'all. But anyway, on to the next. Sorry, I just had to say that. Just
yeah, for sure.
Show Bruce some love.
Yeah. All right. Night 4. We have made it to Saturday. I would venture to say this is the hottest ticket that Goose has ever had. The hardest ticket that Goose has ever had to get. I've never seen, even the Fox Theater was not like this. I mean, I saw people almost offering their firstborns for tickets. So, like, they didn't, but it was like going in that direction a couple of times.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I actually did offer up my never going to exist firstborn child. And I still didn't get tickets.
My eggs weren't worth it for some reason.
Yeah, and I should also note that the sound check for this day was actually the benefit set for the Fox G1 Foundation, Research Foundation. So these guys played a set for people before we even got into the building. This is how much work they were doing. So they had done, Peter had done 2 shows on Friday. They both did all of them did 2 shows on Saturday. And then the Arevalo Trio did 2 shows on Sunday. These guys were putting in the work, man. We just get to hang out outside. It might be a little cold, but we're still just sitting around and kikiing with each other. They're actually in there working. So just such a beautiful, just beautiful. Just that they offer themselves up so much for so many people, and it's really beautiful.
It is. I got pretty lucky, and somehow I just had to go to the bathroom, and one of the security guards that I absolutely love, was right there, and he was talking to me. I was like, oh, I've got to go to the bathroom. He's like, oh, come this way. And so I went around to the side and he let me in. Had no idea what was going on. So I'm like sitting back there and like chatting with some of the people. And then like one of the other security guards that knew that I wasn't supposed to be in there, she was like, she's not supposed to be in there. And the main security guard was like, he's like, she's been, and it was ending. And he's like, she's just going out with the other ones now and stuff. And I was like, oh, well, that was cool. I had no idea that was going on. So
I love it. That whole thing came from like a online exchange with Rick, who is like actually just moved by somebody's personal story and stepped in to say, hey, we want to help out. And again, just goes to show you. In the house that night, I was pretty much center stage, I think, or just to Trevor's side of Rick this night, back on the rail. So much fun up there this night. Yeah, a lot of good stuff going on. Chelsea, where were you? You were upstairs, yes?
No, I was up Trevor's side, pretty close there.
We converted her.
We were waving the whole night that night.
Yeah,
we converted
Kelsey.
her to Trevor's side.
I always love Trevor, so I'm down. I just never usually got that close. So I was like all up in there this week. It was wild.
I will say Trevor was a standout for the whole run for me. Like just generally, he got so many solos. He was really like MVP in it up there every night. So we love you, Trevor, so very much. Let's see. Jam of the night for night 4. I'm starting this one. I gotta go with Feel It Now because it was so fun. And as Becky mentioned, she like hopped down and was like right next to us and danced with us through the whole song. And it was just really fun watching her experience it. And like Peter just kept giving her these beautiful like smiles and looks at her. And it was really fun to just experience it with her. And also that song rocks. It's so good. I can hear her on the radio tomorrow. So watching the show last night, I was like, I just got up and started dancing in my living room. I couldn't stop myself. I was tired. I was like, nope, gotta move. This move. So yeah, shout out to Feel It Now. Great new song. Can't wait to hear it again. Can't wait to see what they do with it. And also I just like Mr. Action. And I like the vibe it brings to a set. It's just so everybody just gets so into it and we all sing the chorus together. And I like that song too. It's really fun to hear. So that was my highlight for me. Han, how about you?
I just want to point out, I guess, because like obviously I listened on Nugs, is that Bob Don is now Bob Don again.
Right.
Yes. But this was still the slow Bob Don. I even said to Drew, I was like, they'd be writing Bob Don, but this was the slow down tempo, which should be undecided, but who knows how they're naming
Who knows? So I thought that was interesting, and I guess that's all I can really contribute.
Alexius, how about you? Jam of the night.
Jam of the night, I would say for me is SOS. I am a huge SOS fan and was so excited to get it. And then it was, Seekers on the Ridge and Mr. Action and then, SOS. And that was top notch for me. I absolutely love SOS and hadn't had it in a while. And so I was really feeling that.
Elsie, how about you?
I'm also going with Feel It Now. That there was something about In the Moment, that song and the jam they went into was so fun and dancey. But then even after when the soundboards came out, that was the first song I listened to, and I've listened to it like a million times since then. So that's becoming one of my new faves. I really enjoy Feel It Now.
I really want to hear it in a club, like for real. Like I want to hear it in a club, like on vinyl, and hear a DJ mix it and like dance to it in a club. Really,
Becky, if you're listening, Becky, that would be sick.
Candace wanted to shout out Hollywood Nights, always a fun one as well. Love it. Anytime we get a 726, it's a good night, and anytime the encore is Dripfield. I mean, it's the best. So I love that. When were you most moved? I'm always moved by Silver Rising. Every single time I hear it, it moves me. I know it's about a werewolf, but there's something about humanity in it that just connects with me. And so I love it. And we all howled after this one, which was so cute. All of us owling up front. And I also noticed that Peter started doing a specific keyboard sound that sounds like a howl now during the song. And I was noting that too. So I thought that was really cool. We got ows in a couple of different ways and directions. So that was really, that moved me. I really like that. Hannah, how about you? I don't, did you, you're coming off soundboards because I know you were out in Brooklyn doing your thing this night.
I was on a different vibe, but also a similar vibe. It's actually, the place is called the Good Room and the Good Bar. They're like owned by the same people. And shout out to my girl Timo, who is an awesome, amazing DJ. And well, she does half the year in Brooklyn, Williamsburg area, and then half the year in Honolulu. So if you live in those areas, check her out. But yeah, I don't have like a epic moment at the show, just kind of going off soundboards.
Excellent. Alexius, how about you?
What
moved you the most?
What moved me?
Yeah.
I would definitely say the Feel It Now. Like, I was just shocked and, in my vibe doing my thing. And then I'm like, new song, wait a minute. I stop exactly what I'm doing and start listening to it. And I'm just like, man, this is awesome. And that's what absolutely astounds me each time is that these, they had a little bit of time between, this, but then when they came out with Thatch and, and the things previously, they're on the road writing these things and, they come out so quickly with them and, and how they, and just like you said, how did they know when it's the right time to let it be heard and stuff? But that was definitely an awesome one. I was really happy to experience that one live for the first time.
Yeah, it was really special and just a great song. I was so happy we got to talk with Becky about it and get her experience because it was so fun to experience it with her. Any special moments or highlights that you all had on this night that you wanted to mention? I will say, this show was so packed, I actually could not leave the rail to go to the bathroom at set break. We were bathroom. And I was like, I got up and I looked around. I was like, there will be no way to make it back to this spot. And there was a lot of security had to come at one point to ask somebody to leave because they had bum rushed the front and refused to move. It was it was very hectic up there on Saturday, which, coincides with it being the hardest ticket to get so far for Goose. And I really just grabbed my water and just parked it there. And shout out to her name was Daisy that was doing the water and beer service up front. She brought me fruit snacks every night at the rail to eat. And by the third night, she was just giving them to me. So just really grateful to the staff there for taking such good care of all of us and being concerned about our well-being. Because she was like, "You want some more fruit snacks?" I'm like, "Yes, please. Can I have some more fruit snacks?" So she was really sweet. I guess that was a special moment. And then for me, just jamming with Becky up there to Feel It Now was really special as well.
That's super special.
All right.
Especially to a new song for y'all to experience that together.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it was really nice. Okay, we're here. We've made it. Night 5, y'all. We did it. Woo-woo. This was the coup de grace, the last night, and we all got to experience it together. I was back on the rail, pretty much right in front of Rick, or just to Trevor's side of Rick, I think, this night. And I'm not gonna lie, y'all, I was coming in there with not a lot of tank in my gas, gas in my tank or whatever. I was just like, okay, am I gonna make it through this show? I'm hoping I can sustain my energy up there. And then they opened with Time to Flee, and it was like, poof. Never mind. I'm in it. So yeah, I just remembered when I walked in being like, ooh, I'm kind of tired today. It's a lot. And we had done the Osiris event in the afternoon, which was really, really fun and really great, but also was I don't know, just felt like I had already expended some energy show-wise. And so going into this, I was like, okay, gotta like tighten my jib, be ready to be back in it again. So I'll just note that was definitely something for me. And where were you at, Chelsea?
I was in the balcony this night, up in like the center balcony, and I was totally fine with that because I was like, okay, I need a break. I'm all peopled out. Like, I just want to be alone. I went between the Ray Below event and took a nap for like a couple hours and then came back like right when the show was starting. And shout out to Adam, who I was sitting with. We had got tickets from the same person, so we kind of knew we would be sitting together. But I was like straight up like, dude, I'm so peopled out. I'm like so tired of talking to people. And he was so sweet and just, we chatted a little bit, but he kind of let me have my vibe that I needed. So I appreciate him too. So it was chill. Yeah.
I love that little cash or trade connection. I love that. Like, you'll know that you're getting the same, you're going to sit with whoever. The person who we ended up switching seats with somebody, or getting GA seats so we can be on the rail with somebody who got our seats up top on Saturday. And he like took a picture of me and sent it to me. He's like, I see you. So it was really cute. It was really sweet of him. Just through cash or trade, he like sent the picture to me. Like, I saw you. I took a picture of you there, which was really great. Let's see. Hannah, where were you?
So I was right behind Candace on Trevor's side. So Candace and her friends were like 1 or 2 rows of the rail, and then we were right behind them. I think one of the things that was really cool is, again, I don't mean to bring up negative things, but these girls came up and they're very young. They didn't look like they maybe had ever been to a jam band show before. And they come up and they're like, it smells bad up here. It smells like BO. And they were like looking at this one guy who looked kind of straight-laced, but he was really cool. He's a really cool dude. And he just like gave them the dirtiest look. And they were like trying to get up to the rail too. And this mama angel, her name's Alexa. We're Facebook friends now. So shout out if she's listening. We love you. She like tried to gently ask them to, she like tried to explain to them that like these people had been waiting in line for a long time, but they wouldn't move. And then like everyone, like they were like trying to like befriend people, and everyone was just like not into it. And they eventually left. And so I bring that up because, one, I had to shout out Alexa because she was amazing and she made sure that we were also having a good time, like even though this negative thing was happening. But I also bring it up because, like, be kind to each other. And like, I know we say that and it can come across as generic because we always say it, but I really mean that. And it doesn't mean you have to be like all lovey-dovey or like, you know, like if you're not a hugger, that's cool. Like if you're whatever, you know, you do being nice to being nice to people and doing good around you in your way. Cause all it takes is like that one, the dad who gave the look of like, why are you being mean? You know what I mean? Just like that look, that was his way of being kind to the people next to him. Right. So just, we really need to like continue having that and like having each other's backs as the band grows. And like when Jimmy Fallon makes them famous, you know what I mean? We're just all kinds of people at shows. And like, we were also with this family or by this family with these little girls, and they wanted to go to the rail, and we had to explain rail politics to them because our parents didn't know. But like, we didn't mind because like they were good people. You know what I mean? Like I was trying to set their girls up on a friend date with Alexia's girls because they're around the same age. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, like, it's just like, just be nice to each other, be kind to each other. And
they did come up to the rail, and they were they did. And Ben threw them each a drum stick and everything. And so they actually had they were very sweet girls.
Did you know who intimidated them though? Was Drew intimidated them, and he asked what their favorite songs were, and they were like, couldn't answer. And then the one girl, the older sister, made sure to go out of her way, like I think it was during set break, to like talk to me about Moon Cabin and which were her favorite songs. Like she wanted me to know that like she knew, you know what I mean? Like
it's so funny. Drew only asked that so he knows to switch and put them on the rail to the song. Yeah.
His friend John did the same thing for me. And if Factory Fiction had been played, I was going to go to the rails with the girls. because John was like, yeah, we'll get you up if they, like, what song would you go up for? And I was like, Factory Fiction. So like, it was just a really magical time, but it was because of all the different personalities. You know what I'm saying? Like, so just continue to be kind to each other out there and spread that magic.
That'd be nice. I'm not even going to ask where you were, Alexis, because you were running around
yet again.
Everywhere.
Last night of all of this heavy lifting you had to do, and after the Ray Below show, which you were all over that too. Amazing picks. I'm excited to be in the car to see some of them tomorrow, so it's gonna be fun. Jam of the night. I have to say it burns within for me because we haven't heard it in like a year, and so it was just really special and really beautiful, and that really was special. I wasn't expecting it, and they shocked me again. It was really nice.
That was awesome. Into the Mist always does it for me, and that the last night had a few songs that really got me. It Burns Within, Into the Mist, and Elmeg just got me, and then ending it with Empress. The Empress. It just, again, every night they do it, but yeah, and It Burns Within was a definite thing that I think a lot of us were just so happy to get, and so moved by it. I know Daniel Ralph was. Candace put it up here. It was we were about it after the show was over. We were able to get together like our. It's hard. Like once so many people, the group is growing and growing and growing, and so a group of us that hadn't been together in a while, we were able to get together, even though we were all exhausted, and we said we were not going to do anything. Again, we watched the sun come. We're watching the sun come up together, and get a taxi. Get a taxi to. It was somewhere in Connecticut, and we're sitting here wondering. We're like, why can you not get an Uber at 5 o'clock in the morning? I'm like, are people going to work on a Monday morning at 5 o'clock? And I was like, I guess we're just gonna have to look up the old school taxi service, So sorry, it's my medicine time. But
Chelsea, how about you? Most Move. What was your jam of the night? Not Most Move. Where's the jam of the night for you?
Well, I love an 80s synth Indian River, so that was fun.
And we had Welcome to Delta jam in there, so
that was cool.
Special kicker, yeah.
That was fun, but also, how do you say Jeff Ingborg? How do you say your last name, Jeff? I don't know how to say it, but I just love that. That song is literally only a jam, and I saw that in St. Louis, so I have had it before, but it's a rare one too. And I like how they were like, this song is about Jeff. And I was like thinking Jeff Aravalo, right? And I was like, wait, what? And then they started playing this. I was like, oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. Got it. But that's fun to dance to. So that was cool.
Yeah, it's a good one. All right. When were you most moved? I have to personally just give a shout out to Peter naming every single person on the crew at the end of this 5 days. I was just so moved by that. Him holding his notes that he had everybody's name there. And then all of us just shouting out everybody's names back and being so excited. And, obviously Goose has, one of the best crews in the business, and they work so hard to make sure that we are able to enjoy this band and also keep the band going, right? And get them what they need to be able to do their jobs. And so it was just really moving to not hear a blanket, thanks to our crew, but nah, we're naming everybody's name. Everybody's getting a name, and Ben shouting out his student that when he said you'll be seeing him on stage soon, my heart just oh my God. So all of that love, it was just such a beautiful way to bring everything back together and remind us that this is really special. They're really special, and this community is really special. Yeah, I love that.
And, I love that he said it person by person, but also, go into as many concerts as we have through the Goose Drought. This is not something that's being said, thank you to the crew. I just was very shocked at all the concerts I've been to that they're not saying thank you to the crew at all. So it means a lot that Peter calling them all out by name also means even more.
Chelsea, Hannah, any part that moved you particularly?
Well, I got my LMAG, everyone. So I can die happy knowing I got my LMAG.
Oh, yeah.
Which I knew it was coming because we were like texting. I was like, they have to play LMAG. I know they're going to play LMAG this run. They have to play LMAG. And so I was just waiting for it. And they ended the set with it. And I just love that song so much. It hits me deep.
I remember us texting and I was like, it's going to be LMAG. And then if it's LMAG, then Empress is the the encore. We were like all texting about that. So I was excited because it was just like, yes, it felt like prophecy fulfilled in that moment, which was really cool. Hannah, how about you? What?
So my cat has decided that it's her time, not your time.
We're almost at the end.
I'm so sorry about that. But and actually Jason, Alexia's husband, was with me and Kelsey in line for a little while, so he may have heard this, but we were talking about the Array Below show to people behind us because they didn't get to go. And I was saying how I've been chasing It Burns Within, and really only Array Below does that now, so I'm not going to get it. I went on this whole thing about that. And then I started saying how I really wanted a Factory Fiction after they said stuff was going to get weird Friday, and I didn't. So I was like, okay, I think that's what I'm going to get. I think that's the song I'm chasing that I'm going to get. And so when they started It Burns Within, after I went on this whole thing about how I'm chasing that song and I'm never going to get it, and I missed my chance with the Array Below set, and they played it, I was just like, oh my gosh. I felt like I was the only one in the room, and you know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that. Love it. Any last thoughts on this night 5? Any final notes as we're going to close out here?
Can I tell my story?
Yes, go. It is time.
Oh yeah, it was the end of this night, wasn't it? It was the end of
this night, so I waited. So picture it. Me and Andy were walking around the lot because we are waiting for the commuter train. And Chelsea briefly was with us. So we kind of met these guys that she'd been talking to, and then she left to go get food. And we're just sitting there chilling, finding out we had a lot of connections and stuff. And this car pulls up. And who rolls down his window but Mr. Ben? He's there with who I assume is his fiance. And he had met the one guy earlier in the run. So you just wanted to say hi to fans or whatever. And Andy goes up to him. Andy's bald as well, bald with a beard. And he's like, Ben, don't tell anyone, but I've been don't ruin my cover, but I've been telling everyone that we have bald people ESP. And this kind-hearted soul does not act like my friend is weird or anything. He goes, oh yeah, man, I won't blow your cover. Says something like that. He's like, you want to get in for it? And they he puts his head out of the window and they ball touch at each other. Oh. and then he just and I assume that he you were talking about that there were people, they have lives, they have stuff to do. Connecticut's not that far from Port Chester. They're probably driving because it looked like they were in their own car. They're probably driving to visit family or whatever. And I was like, what a sweetheart that he just took the time for that.
That is the cutest thing ever. Oh my God. We really are bringing Andy over to the dark side. That was it. It's over. It's a wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. So yeah, he's in it now. He's in the Goose scene. It's really cute. And he is ESP with Ben. So if we want a certain song, just let me know. We'll play telephone. We'll get it to Ben. We'll see what we can do.
Do you want to hear the funniest thing? Speaking of the Ben thing, so I was looking, and on Sam's her story and stuff, she's she has this it's the last night 5, and she has a video of of what's going on. She's starting the night with Goose and ending the night and in the hotel lobby and with baking potatoes for 30 minutes or microwaving potatoes for 30 minutes. This potato was gigantic. ginormous. I mean, ginormous. And it's so funny because, Ben, he truly does love potatoes. And I wrote her, yes, Spuds. And I was like, dude, props for no matter what, having a huge potato with you. And going down, making sure no one's, down there. And my thing is, I was like, you think that your hotel room would have the microwave and stuff. But that was the funniest, cutest thing ever. Just like, ending the night with, what do you want to eat? I want a potato, I love Ben. And I don't feel like that Ben gets enough shout out and stuff. I've been talking with Ben's parents and they're absolutely awesome. June will hopefully that we'll talk with June soon and stuff and be getting some words of wisdom. But Ben is the hardest person to photograph in the world, like where they have him set, like Trevor's things are in front and Trevor's microphone. And, you can get like a good spot of Jeb, but of Ben, it is so hard because the things that are right there. So I literally spent Saturday night solely focused on Ben, like trying to make sure that I got an awesome photo of Ben. And it's still hard. Y'all see like hundreds and hundreds of photos of just Ben to try and get like just a few good ones. So, but this run was so awesome. Everyone, it was so good to see everyone. And Daisy, I see you in the comments from out west. I'm so bummed. Like we will be seeing Daisy for anyone who's going out west. Daisy will be out west and all the shows. Are you going out west, Leslie?
No, Drew is. I'm not. Drew is. He'll be at Eugene and both San Fran shows.
Oh, I miss Daisy so much at this show. She's so awesome.
And
she's always
fan. She's always fanning all of us and keeping us cool up there. So we did miss you, Daisy, and your presence. We love you so much. Candace had a last thought. Love the creativity of the new songs, different flares, different beats. So awesome. Absolutely. Again, continuing to evolve. They just keep getting better and better, which we're very lucky to have. All right. We've been up here yapping long enough, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're so happy that you were able. Special thanks to our guest, RJ Bee. Make sure you follow RJ and definitely for sure check out his daily show, The Drop. It's really good. Usually it's just short, but also the Arabolo show is on that feed as well. And this conversation will be up on our feed next week, so you'll have notes there. And of course, thank you to Becky Chinman, aka RIVKA Ruth, for showing up and surprising everyone with a little guest spot. We appreciate her. I love her so much for being so supportive of us. Chelsea, I wanted to give you a minute to just pump our episode from last week, just because so much was going on. I think it sort of got lost in the noise, and it's such a great episode. So if you could just tell folks what it's about, and hopefully they'll share with more people, because there's a lot of great information on that show.
Yeah, definitely. Check out our episode called Geese and the Goslings, where we had my friends Sarah and Jason come on, and they gave some great advice about taking kids along to shows and making live music a bonding experience for the whole family. And there's really some awesome tips in there for parents that are bringing children, but also just for everyone to prepare yourself before you go to shows. So definitely check it out, especially if you're a parent, but everyone, Geese and their Goslings.
Yep, check that one out. Also, our merchandise is dropped. You can get the very first Goose Chicks Pod merch drop right now. Go to goosechickspod.com/merch, or just go to goosechickspod.com. You'll see the merch link right on there. I got my hoodie. I should have wore it today, but I didn't. It's really nice stuff, so definitely get yours. They're really cute. We love all the designs. Let's see. I think, Hannah, you're going to say some stuff.
Me?
Oh, no. Follow us on socials. We're Goose Chicks Pod everywhere that you need to find us. It's the same handle, Goose Chicks Pod. And as we say, be kind to each other out there. We love y'all. Thanks for supporting us. We'll see you out on the road. If you're in Philly, make sure you look for Alexius and I. Cleveland, me, Alexius, and Hannah will be out there. And then you'll see us in Nashville. We're going to be in Birmingham. All of us will be in Chicago. So those that are going to Chicago, we have some special stuff that we're going to be doing out there. Some cool slaps for that run. It's going to be a lot of fun.
And music festivals are coming up, peeps. So
be on the lookout. We've got so much stuff coming. Y'all aren't even prepared. We really aren't.
We're not ready. So everyone get ready for us not being ready.
All right. Love y'all, everybody. Good night, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.
Good night.
Bye.
Osiris.